Hello, hello, happy Friday. Welcome to our Friday Witchy Hangout. We do this every single Friday where we get together and we ask a juicy question of the universe and we mingle our energies, and it's usually a pretty good time. So just keep that in mind. If you happen to be bored on a Friday or just, passing by, stop on in. So today we are doing a lovely juicy reading on what is your anxiety versus what is your intuition. Like what is the voice of your anxiety telling you, and how is that like mixing and mingling or confusing with your intuition, or just like helping to pull those things apart. So without further ado, you guys are being hilarious in the chat, by the way. Okay, so without further ado, we do have an anchor card. So the anchor card, in case you're new here, is not an actual option. This is energy that is a base energy for the reading. We don't try to get an anchor card, but sometimes they come out. Actually, they come out more often than not. And I feel like we read the cards together. So I just like for everybody to get a good look at that anchor energy. It might be speaking to you. It might flash up in your mind at a certain point. You might be getting a message from it right now. So just get a good gander at that. Hello, hello. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the choices, the piles up here. So pile number 1 is the sword, pile number 2 is Anima, Mundi, and pile number 3 is the gem. And so I'll go ahead and put that up there. Hello. Happy birthday, Allegra. Oh, looking so Venus. Okay, I just really wanted to have a flower in my hair, and I don't know how long this is going to last because my ear is feeling like all hot and itchy, but it's like worth it to have this flower here. And it's like all stem coming out the back. And so like every time I move, it's like hitting my jacket and stuff. But I want to have this here. And so, and Valentine's Day is tomorrow. I hope you guys are having a good Valentine's Day. And to those of you who ordered the candles, we have that all shipped out for you. Okay. Yay. All right, so we'll go ahead and take our moment of silence now. We like to do this, break all the rules of the internet, just go completely quiet, not just on the outside, but trying to calm ourselves on the inside to allow that energy to just settle down and turn our gaze inwards towards that inner core part of the self that is the observer, that is pure awareness that goes with us from lifetime to lifetime, and just connect deeply into that space before the reading and before choosing your pile. That might be helpful to connect with your intuition as well. So we can go ahead and do that. You can open thine eyes. I don't know why I said it like that. I just went with it. It bubbled up inside of me and I just went with it. I don't know if that was my anxiety or my intuition, but I guess we'll see later. So you can just be drawn in to whatever pile, or maybe multiple piles. And I'll just leave this up here. While you're making your choice, we're living in uncertain times. And I don't like to talk politics on my channel, but I do want to remind everybody that lives in the United States that we have primaries coming up here soon. So if you can educate yourself about the candidates, and don't forget to get out there and vote. And we will be having the midterms in November. And if you can start making a plan now to make sure that you can go out there and vote and have your voice heard, if you want to ask off for the day, or just to make sure you can get there. Just a reminder, several months out. All the free peoples of the world, unite. Sunday is Pan's Day for those who celebrate. Interesting. So go out and get your pans. I'm kidding. I'm joking. Okay. So I'm going to if you need a little bit more time, you can go ahead and pause it here, but we're going to go ahead and get into pile number 1, which is the sword. All right. Okay. Wow. I just realized that I haven't been channeling for any of these readings like all day. My anxiety just hit me. Okay, maybe and then I was just talking about like the preparation. So for some of you, there might be some kind of like preparation or something that like has more to do with like anxiety rather than maybe just like being present in the moment. Ooh, like they're giving me the sense of like just being right on the precipice. So I don't know if you've ever had this, in some way in your life, I know that you've had this experience, whether it's like, I grew up on a lake and we had a double-decker dock, and I still remember being a kid and like the first time, it took me a while to like actually jump off of it, but it's like walking right up to the edge and like that really like, whoo, kind of feeling. Or like if you've ever been snow skiing and you get to the top of the mountain and you're like, whoo, like it's just that kind of like feeling. And this anxiety though, I feel like is kind of mixed in. I just heard the word exuberance. Oh, interesting. Because that's making me think of joy with others, which is like one of the Brahma Viharas, the 4 immeasurables from Buddhism. So they kind of talk about the scale. So joy with others is like that pure energy, like to kind of shoot for. But on the one end, when that energy is out of balance, it can be like resentment, envy, like competition energy. And on the other side is exuberance, where like you're really, really exuberant, but that exuberance isn't necessarily like kind of connected in. So I feel like there could be an exuberance here about connecting with someone, but and it's not like, I just heard it can peter out like into anxiety. There's something here about like an initiation or like an initial phase that's like maybe kind of full of anxiety, but then it kind of peters out and you can kind of like know the real truth of it. And maybe for some of you, that's part of the pattern. I'm hearing one doesn't necessarily preclude the other. It's just understanding like your own nervous system is what I'm getting, and like understanding the packing of the punch and, oh, okay. So maybe, something like that. Just understanding the cycles here. There's also something here about the thinking energy versus like an actual strike of inspiration I'm getting with the sword, because look at the actual sword and how it's like right along the line there between the gray area with the egg on it. Well, I guess they both have eggs on it. And then like the happy side of it, it's like right down the middle, and I'm hearing like double-edged sword. And so I think the thinking mind can like adjudicate almost like between those two sides and kind of understand that. But then look at the lightning strike, where it's just kind of come down, and again, it's come through maybe through this exuberant energy or some kind of happiness. There's something that maybe you realize about the happiness or something, and then it kind of goes down into the shadow energy and it kind of cuts right through, but it cuts through like in a different way. So what I'm getting for this group is there's something to do with the pattern energy. And I think one is of the mind. So, and that has to do with control. And I think that's more linked to anxiety. So there's some kind of like pattern and I'm hearing anticipation as well. So you're kind of thinking about like what is to come, and it's that preparatory kind of like getting ready. And so there's a lot of exuberance and therefore anxiety kind of like at the beginning, and it'll peter off into something internally where when that exuberance is gone, you can kind of maybe trust it more. And then there's a different energy, which is like the strike of like inspiration is kind of what I'm getting with this lightning strike. Yeah. Okay. So let's see what at the heart of this is like are these things reacting to the anxiety and the intuition? Did you just call the sun and the moon an egg? Did I? Oh my gosh. Okay, well, to be fair, that sun looks like it's in the middle of an egg, doesn't it? And that is an egg. Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't it an egg? Okay, so this is, I feel like the thing where it's like, oh, the inspiration might come from outside of you too. Okay, so I feel like what this group needs to understand is that your intuition doesn't always come from inside of you. A lot of what comes from inside of you might be like that thinking mind, but then sometimes like the spark of inspiration and like intuition can actually come from outside of you, and then it gets you looking at something like an entirely different way. Okay, so what is it that like both are trying to figure out here? I'm laughing. I really didn't realize that was the sun until like right now. I just thought that this was like an egg and it was like cooked, and this was an egg and it was it was trying to be cooked. This is like a flat like blacktop grill or something. Sunny side up. Okay, so what is this trying to work out here? I did just see the high priestess in my mind. So literally your intuition, but some kind of like secret, trying to figure out like what's kind of in the dark here. Okay, the other thing here is I feel like this like flash of lightning, this like exuberant energy can be blinding. So, okay, I think this is like true and relevant in a relationship. So like if you meet somebody and you're like feeling exuberant, and it can be a blinding kind of a thing. And that exuberance, maybe a lot of you are like, oh, I feel like joy with this person. But it's an exuberance, which is kind of like a more on the extreme end of joy. And it's actually more intermingled with your anxiety. And that anxiety does have to do with anticipation, because I think that there is kind of an awareness that in the thinking mind that something here could like kind of crash down, and maybe has in the past. And so it's important for this group to keep in mind that exuberance is different than having genuine joy with others. And that is different than your intuition. So you might meet somebody, have like amazing chemistry, but this feels like something else, because this feels, this feels like exuberance is what it feels like. And that's like a kind of a blinding energy, and it kind of blankets everything. And there's something here like kind of beneath the surface. Again, I'm seeing the high priestess in my mind. So it's like when you're trying to get to the unknown, especially if there's something here about like the beginning stages and the anticipation of like, ooh, this is really fun, or I think this is like going to be really something here. But then it's also like, I don't know, realizing that maybe it's not going to be. And then I just heard hangups. Oh wait, I'm hearing something. This could, it's a Taylor Swift lyric. It's like, this could be, oh my gosh, why am I forgetting this? It could be something, or end up in flames. It's like, it could be like the best, or like end up in flames, something here like that. And so that's that excitement and that anticipation. And it's not really exactly telling you anything. And so it's important to kind of like calm that down. But I think that that exuberance is also part and parcel with the thinking mind, and it's come in with anxiety. And then for some of you, there's like a flash. And I think this is your intuition and maybe your higher self and like spirit kind of coming in, where it will illuminate, because also it's right next to the moon energy. But this to me kind of always gives off like a black moon Lilith vibe, where it's like, oh, wait a second, I think somebody's actually being bitchy towards me. Or wait a second, I think that there's something hidden here, like maybe a third party or something like that. And then that kind of is the thing that can kind of cut through the anxiety. So in a weird way, the exuberance, which is the anxiety, which is the thinking mind, creates an extra layer for the intuition to kind of work through. But if you understand what the exuberance is, that it's kind of part and parcel with anxiety, and that it's nothing like natural coming from that other person or coming from your external world. I feel so exuberant. It's like, it's not necessarily something coming off of them. It's like you're attracted to them, and maybe it's fun, especially on like maybe a banter level or something that's kind of more superficial. This is also, I'm seeing kind of Lorelai Gilmore and Christopher, who is, so maybe there was like a kind of Christopher in your life where, or maybe this is a pattern, but she's always kind of hung up on him. He's the father of her child, and they got pregnant when they were 16. They both come from this like upper crust society. And there was one episode in particular where you could just see the trauma bond between the two of them, because they, their parents had like, once again kind of scolded them for derailing their lives when they were 16, even though their daughter is like pretty much 16 at the time. And they immediately revert back into their child selves. And you can see Lorelai crying on the balcony in that avoidant energy, trying to like get away from it. Christopher comes out there with like a little flask in his pocket. And you can see that that's like the basis of their relationship. They both feel like fuck ups. They both are kind of like drown out. And so but they both have these like bright personalities that are fun, and they do the banter thing between the two of them, and they've been through so much together. So this is another aspect to this. They've been through a lot together, but it's all of their like emotions that are kind of like piled up in some type of train wreck sort of a thing. And but their banter and the way that they kind of interact, it's this sword fighting energy, not necessarily in an aggressive way, but it just kind of keeps things actually on a surface level. Because I remember thinking, like, even though they have a full-blown kid together, and he keeps coming back around, he's not really in the kid's life, but he keeps coming back around, and she has this thing where she's like, and every time it's just like, that's Christopher, and it's like, she always says things like that seem intimate, but they are very, very vague. It's like, what do you mean by that's Christopher? It's like, all is forgiven, like, that's just Christopher because he makes me smile. It's like that exuberance. And also it's like, oh, well, we should have family because they have a kid, but there kind of is no family there, like the energy of it. So I feel like there's something here like that with this group, where there's some type of emotional pain in the past that you're kind of trying to run from, or you have some type of patterning around that, and everybody does, right? But whatever that patterning is, it might have something to do with exuberance and joy with others. And that exuberance is a welcome reprieve from maybe things feeling this gray energy, like kind of monotonous or something, or gray, or feeling like sad, or like I'm a disappointment, or I'm supposed to be this way, or I'm supposed to be doing that. And so it's like you kind of get wrapped up in the exuberance of it, and then that exuberance feels like a light, or it feels like a calling. But I noticed that with their relationship where it's like, this isn't true intimacy, but it pretends to be, because they both have similar personalities that are very lively, that were kind of created as a survival mechanism. And that's what they keep sharpening their swords, their mind energy. That makes them actually feel stronger and more defensive. But actually, they're kind of still in that same, and they have family together. And so Lorelai, and you can tell both of them are kind of thinking, well, maybe we could actually make this work. And I don't think this is like specific. I feel like there's maybe a pattern here. And that would erase all the sins from the past. Like, to both of their parents said, like, we needed to be able to do it on our own terms. You needed to get off our own back. We would find our way to each other eventually, but you were always smothering us. They wanted to make that right. And there's so much validation kind of tied up into this, but it's not actual kind of, intimacy. And Lorelai, which we follow a lot more, when there is actual intimacy in her relationships, she tends to kind of tank it and ruin it and literally bolt and run. And so, and that might look like an anxiety, but the anxiety here, that energy, okay, so now we have two different kinds of anxiety, because one is that the anxiety of actual intimacy, and that's the anxiety that tells you to run, where there's, I feel like, some type of anxiety in the exuberance that is part and parcel with the thinking mind that feels like, oh, this is destined, or this is what should happen. It fits together. If this were to happen, it would validate, all these people's doubts about me or about us, or like whatever was kind of going on. So it's like lost in the happiness that is actually this kind of superficial, like kind of skiing on the surface energy of what is like kind of actually below, where if you meet somebody or something and then you start to feel that anxiety of, oh shit, I gotta run. I feel like that's because it's going to get to the shadow, which is actual depth and intimacy. And that's actually somebody who isn't going to sword fight with you, Lorelai. They're not going to sword fight with you. They're actually like, Luke is going to listen. Sorry if you don't know who these people are, but I feel like you can still kind of follow the pattern that I'm getting at. But really, I feel like Alex and I, we've talked about this extensively, and we think that like Max was actually the one for her, for those of you that have actually seen the show. But yeah, like there's just, there's a difference in the anxiety. Okay. Yeah. So the anxiety isn't necessarily wrong. So the exuberant kind of anxiety leads you into a kind of numbing out, a kind of denial or a blind spot. Like, I don't want to look at this. And that might feel good for a while. And that good feeling isn't your intuition. So there's an anxiety here that on the surface, I think feels like fun and it feels like a good feeling. That's not your intuition. It could start out that way for some of you but then when it get in certain situations, it might start out like really, really fun, like the beginning of a romance. But then actually there's a point where it kind of gets to this gray area where it's like, this is going to penetrate, not in a bad way, but like it's going to kind of cut through and it's going to illuminate the part of myself that I am not comfortable with, or like, and that's actual intimacy. And then there's a different kind of anxiety of, oh shit, I'm going to run. And there's certain kinds of relationships, again, like that Christopher kind of energy, where I feel like the thinking mind gets to like deliberate, and that gives a sense of control. So even like Lorelai's always saying, like, Chris proposes to her a lot, and wants to kind of come back around a lot. And she can see that he's not mature and that he's really not ready. She can see that, he's just wanting that Band-Aid or wanting that kind of soothing energy, but he's not actually prepared to kind of like, but it still puts her in this like judgment position where she's like, well, I can really see this. But then like kind of staying teetering on the surface of it, gives her that maybe kind of sense of power and control over her own life. Cause she's always kind of keeping people at an arm's length. So I feel like there's some kind of way where you're always kind of keeping people at an arm's length, and that feels safer to you. And that's what things are kind of leading to. But yeah. And something here masquerades as an intuitive hit of like, oh, I need to get out of here, when actually that's probably the thing that can be more intimate, but you might not be ready. So let me again see what is this kind of trying to get at and figure out. This has to do with decision making. This has to do with seeing clearly up front, like in a situation, so a romantic situation, a job situation. Is this the right fit for me? Is kind of what I'm getting. Honestly, didn't think any of those were good. Not now when I watch it. Honestly, like, yeah, like a lot of people have problems. And, Alex and I realized that we think that show was trying to mimic Sex and the City at the time. So they thought that the crux of that show and why people liked it was, oh, let's see like their dating life and stuff. And I think that really did the show a disservice. But anyways, it also could be that there is somebody here. Maybe this is something like within yourself, or there could be somebody here who's like, they call it a collector. I think that was on Friends, actually. like, oh, he's just a collector, where, so this is somebody with like a lot of exuberant energy. They come in, it's like really like, hey, but they're just collecting experiences, and then they're just going to move on. It's not necessarily that they're collecting bodies. It's like, they just want to have like an adventurous kind of life kind of a thing. I don't know. Okay. So what else, Spirit? What is this trying to kind of get to the bottom of? So the big thing here is like finding this temperance energy, finding your balance, especially like with the earthy energy. Balance here is found in the earthy energy and in the water energy. So balancing out of the emotions. So when you start to feel exuberant, and this is where I think a lot of people kind of intuitively know this, to be honest, about their like relationship life, but they don't want it to be true, where it's like, if you notice like the giddy feeling and like the exuberance, like to kind of actually take a couple of deep breaths and kind of calm and bring yourself back down to like absolute base reality, because it's not fun, right? Like sometimes we like the roller coaster, and it's okay to like have that, but just also keeping like one foot on the ground. And the other thing is, if something threatens to uproot your stability with the earthy realm, like if somebody's asking you to like uproot your life and like move across the country and you've known them for 3 months, like, don't uproot your like stability. So I feel like if this group just has more of a focus on their stability, not more of a focus, because I feel like you have a focus, but it's like when that exuberant energy kind of comes in, it feels like a leap of faith. It feels like I want to jump into this, but it's really because it's numbing out. It's not getting to a deep truth. It's really because you like the feeling of it like numbing out. So just kind of like going within and really connecting with what things in your life make you feel stable and calm and measured. And there's something here about like emotional, that even keel emotional stability, which the exuberant energy is actually knocking it in a way. When they're showing me like a wave, and how, remember learning this in science class? This had to do with like energy, but it's like the crescent of the wave. So it starts that ripple effect. When you get up to a high, the energy has to go back down to a low. And then like when it gets up to a high, and then the energy has to go back down to a low. This is where I started to kind of I think it's about contentment and not about reaching these highs. Because a lot of us define our happiness and our success by highs, but it's something that is actually the underpinning of what's keeping a cycle of anxiety that then masks an intuition. So especially, this group is especially susceptible to thinking that your anxiety, a false kind of anxiety, is an intuition leading you towards something when you're on the up and up. So when your life is starting to kind of go up like this, you might actually meet somebody or something here, and then you're feeling more stable, but because things are going well for you, but you're kind of like starting to crescent. And I hope this isn't giving you like paranoia or anxiety, right? But like, so it's a kind of chasing a high experience. And then you'll meet somebody or like have a new experience, and it's this exuberance, and it's like, yes, I want to lean into that. And then it's like kind of it crests back down because you've reached some type of like high or pinnacle. But this is more like the spiritual journey, like with the temperance. So meditation is really good for this group, and just finding like a kind of peace within, that life is what it is. That's what I'm getting. I feel like this is a group where it's like just a whole lot of acceptance of like life is what it is. Very Buddhist. I feel like Buddhism is probably good for this. And I'm not trying to tell you what to believe or anything, but Buddhism is one of those, it's classified as a religion in some instances, but it can also be classified as a psychology because it's not rooted in like belief. Like you have to believe this or that or believe in this God or that God. You can be a Buddhist Muslim, a Buddhist Christian. Because it's more kind of background, and it really so I don't know, looking into certain things like that, like the Eightfold Path and the Four Noble Truths, life is suffering, like you're never going to get away from suffering. So I think whenever you feel this exuberant energy from a person, from an opportunity, it feels like it's numbing out and it's blinding, and it's this kind of flash, and it's like, that's the answer, and then my suffering is going to melt away. If you can kind of come to an acceptance that life and the life school is about suffering and being in kind of a balance with that, learning to accept that. It's not that you don't do the things that you can do to kind of mitigate that suffering and to take care of things and to upkeep things so that they don't fall into entropy, but kind of balancing contentment. That's like the real key for this group. And having that focus on contentment, I think will do a lot for emotional stability here in this group, and recognizing that exuberance as a disruption in a lot of cases, or asking yourself, is this exuberance a disruption of my emotional stability? But it looks high, it looks happy. It's like me with a caramel chew. I'm like, And then 15 minutes later, like clockwork, it didn't satisfy me at all. It just made me want another one. And that's like maybe fueling a cycle of addiction of emotional highs, and thinking and confusing emotional highs with happiness. instead of like emotional contentment, if that makes sense. And so I think this has to do with like maybe the kinds of partners you go after, or the kinds of experiences or jobs, something that's going to be this like exuberant flash energy that's unsustainable by its very nature. It's ephemeral by its very nature. It's a lie to think that something can exist on a high in a sustained way. Does that make sense? So it's just learning about like the contentment, and then again, like balancing that kind of earthy stability, and that earthy stability more than any exuberant partner or anything, that earthy stability is going to give you more happiness, because that happiness, I'm picturing that Maslow's pyramid of like taking care of our deficiency needs, the our safety security needs, our physiological needs, like taking care of that, it alleviates suffering. So maybe for this group, it's like just kind of focus on making your life like a little 1% better every day, like in a sustained way, is actually going to lend more to like longer term happiness than this kind of like, whoa, like sparkly, exuberant kind of partner, or like, again, like opportunity or something like that. And that has to do with like the temperance card, but also kind of focusing more internal and away from like the externals. This is definitely a group that's like basically on a spiritual path. Oh, yeah. Intuition whispers to the heart while anxiety hollers through the mind. Yeah. There is like more of a subtle energy. Look, here's the anxiety card like at night. Yeah. Okay. Because I think there's a lot of anxiety maybe about being alone or being independent. There could literally be some type of hidden, because I feel like the mind would hide this in some kind of way, anxiety about like being financially secure, but like then being on your own. And look at her face. She never really looks very happy to me. She looks like kind of sad, but not in like a I'm bawling my eyes out sort of way, but just like a tolerable level of permanent unhappiness. I think yeah, like that's why I think some of you are like, okay, great. So I'm going to be like, if I lean into like stability, I think some of you think stability is boring. And I think that the media gives us that kind of messaging, especially I can speak for the millennials in the room. Remember shows like Jackass and like Fear Factor? I'm hearing like the music playing in the background, like dun 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 dun. Dun dun, and so like all the shows that we kind of grew up on was like that kind of like that high energy, or like the real world kind of thing, or like in like The Bachelor where everybody's competing for love, and this like you got this one hunk guy, supposedly, I know like a lot of them are not hunky, but and they got like a lot of problems and stuff, but it's like this according to our society's metrics, like he's rich and he's good looking and he likes dogs, and it's like, oh god, like, and so everybody like descends on that one person. So I think that there's maybe some kind of latent subconscious belief that stability equals unhappiness because stability equals boredom, but it's not true. And so I think there's a fear of actually leaning into that, and that's in the mind, and that's what's kind of pinning you towards pitching your ship towards this exuberant energy. This was a lie that our culture told us that I feel like we kind of have to unravel, because like sages sit in a loincloth alone in caves in the mountains and like reach states of ecstasy. And I can tell you for a fact, and I feel so bad because I didn't like do this, okay, as a matter of habit. Sort of I did, I guess, in my mind. There's this one girl, and I think about her a lot at Omega, okay? And she was kind of like loopy, but in that meditation way where she would like meditate a lot, and she was always just like so happy. And I remember one time, and I think I've told this story before on this channel, but like I sat down at breakfast, it's like 7 a.m. I got my blueberry bagel. There was only 4 of them that they ordered every single week, and I had to make sure that I got there early to get that. And I did. I'm sitting down to eat that, and she was like, oh my God, I like just had an orgasm in my mind. And I was like, oh my God, you are so overblowing this, okay? Meditating is relaxing. It is all these things, but it is not that. No, it is. And I've since had these like kind of ecstasy kind of experiences. And I don't think that you should chase those experiences in meditation, but I'm saying that like the stability and the calm and recognizing your true nature is the way. And I'm hearing from The Journey Home, which is a really, really good book. But there's this one monk guy like meditating in the mountains, and he came down and he was like, you're going the wrong way. And he was talking about like trying to solve all our problems in the external world. So I do think that this is a group that part of the blockage even to your own spirituality, and again, like to your own natural rhythms is what I'm getting. Okay, so and I'm connecting that with the intuitive energy, like some kind of natural rhythms. There's a blockage all around that, because I'm kind of getting that with the lightning strike here now. It's like kind of, I'm getting like a K2 energy, which is like that, the body and the like the sage kind of wisdom that you just kind of know. It's like blocked from coming in because the mind is saying, well, I have to go through this exuberance. That's the way to have a happy life, instead of just focused on stability, because stability is boring, and when you're bored, you are not happy. You are sad. But even I don't know, sometimes people who are just kind of like look sad, I don't know, in America and maybe Western countries, I've heard other people from other countries think this is weird about Americans, that like we're always smiling and like we're always happy, and like when we leave reviews on stuff, it's like, oh my gosh, this is like the best thing ever, when like really it was just like mediocre. Like it was baseline, but we feel like, especially like the women feel it's rude to not like gas somebody up kind of a thing, but it's not that way in other places like across the world, and they actually think that we're weird for that. And I actually kind of agree, and it does make things like kind of confusing. So yeah, I feel like it's getting over the fear and the worry that a stable life is a boring life, and that is going to lead to some kind of unhappiness. If you focus on your earthy foundational space and your emotional stability, that's what's actually going to lead to a pure contentment that is actually within, and it's going to stay with you wherever you go. Oh, look, the lover's energy. So yeah, I think that there's a splitness about a lover's energy, that like, and maybe a confusion here where an anxiety is leading you, pulsing you towards one person. I think it's that like Christopher partner. Thank you so much for the super chat, Emily. I've been thinking a lot about this lately, asking my body, how does stability feel within versus fantasy and external focus, significantly reducing anxiety. Thank you so much. And also, somebody else started us off with a super chat. Rebecca, I hope you're still here. Thank you so much for the super chat. I meant to shout you out. But my anxiety, it took over, and then I just like got into the reading. So, yeah, I feel like your anxiety is leading you towards one partner or like one lifestyle, even that's like very exuberant. And it's like, oh, and I'm not saying that like you don't get each other's sense of humor and things like that, or you fart on the couch and you both giggle. Like, I'm not talking about that, like, but I think that, yeah, there's like an appreciation for like stability. And I also just heard like, ask yourself, like, who makes you feel comfortable, where when you see them, you feel like safe, and you know that they're kind of reliable and that they'll always be there for you and that they're not going to like hurt you. Like, isn't that like happiness and joy and contentment? Because I heard the body can get addicted to like its anxiety chemicals, and that in and of itself gives you a rush. And I'm also seeing in my mind, I don't know, for those of you that'll remember, there was like a short that was going around. This was like several years ago, of these like little kids, and there's two twin girls and a little boy, and they're all around the same age. They're toddlers, and they were arguing because their moms had told them, what the little boy's mom told him it was sprinkling out, and the little girl's moms had told them that it was raining out, and they were having an argument about whether it was sprinkling or whether it was raining. And one of the twin girls was a lot feistier than the other one, and she was like, yes it is, and she like poked him on his little chest, not even hard or anything, and he just goes, you poke my heart, you poke my heart. And the other little girl was like, are you okay? And he was like, you poke my heart. And I was like, like turning away. And everybody in the comment section was like, why do we always fall for the one that pokes our heart? And that was just, there was another comment that was like, bro just went through 35 years of marriage in like 30 seconds. But anyways, yeah, I feel like there could be a confusion here of when somebody pokes your heart and it like causes you that anxiety and that feels like a rush. That is some type of like love energy or calling or something like that. But it doesn't actually make you feel safe or stable or secure. I'm also getting that there might be partners who signify that they are safe or stable in some kind of way, and it feels kind of superficial. This is something to just like be aware of. Because now I'm seeing Mr. Wickham in Pride and Prejudice, because he's wearing the army uniform, which maybe like in those times and the way it's presented in the book is like, these are like kind of noble people that are doing like a noble thing, which obviously colonization and stuff, like not exactly great, but you might think like, oh, well, if somebody is like a soldier or something, there's like routine, they're disciplined, they fold their clothes properly or something like that. There could be something like that. I'm not saying it's exactly that, like that, where if you just put them in the right uniform, and it might not actually be a uniform, it might be, well, he couldn't be a player because he wears khakis and a, collared shirt, but actually he is. And if he just wears the right uniform and like holds himself, that'll go a long way. And in like overlooking his behaviors, and it kind of like, maybe you feel like there's a blend there of safety and danger, but actually there isn't any safety there. He just has the uniform on, and it's kind of signaling to your brain something that's not there. And so you kind of get drawn into that thinking, but that's the excitement. Like, oh, I could have this like exciting life or something. Okay, anything else, Spirit? I just heard from your guides, we wanted you to find it out for yourself. I wanted you to be able to make up your own mind about him. So if there was some type of guy here, look, the 2 of Cups came out, and then the Hermit energy. I am kind of getting, yeah, that I feel like you are the Strength energy. Let me just catch up here. Yeah, okay, because I always get Leo energy off of this woman in the Strength card, and then the Fool energy off of this guy here. And I feel like you met somebody that was like kind of this Fool energy, but it was like maybe electric or something. But he doesn't really have like a lot of staying power. But there could have been love here, or like seemed like it. And then you progressed from the Leo energy into the Virgo energy, which the nakshatra that's there is Uttara Falguni, and that is one of my favorite nakshatras. But it is very noble. It's also King of Pentacles kind of energy, which has this kind of like embodied energy. So I feel like you had to turn away from this. You were maybe very strong in the face of whatever this was, even though it was like that Uranus energy is maybe the lightning strike, somebody here kind of being that lightning strike. But I feel like you turned away, and then like you're in that hermit mode, and like I think focused inward in some kind of way. Yeah, and that inward focus, I think, showed you that there was some type of like confusion or competition here, where you were pulled in 2 directions. And then maybe you felt beat up by that experience, and you feel a little dinged up, like especially in the brain, you know, and you feel kind of defensive, like towards this person. Yeah, look, the King of Pentacles, because you thought this person was the King of Pentacles, but you are actually the King of Pentacles. And then I feel like now that person feels defensive. And I actually think that this guy or girl, whoever this was that kind of came in with this blinding energy, might actually have turned into their own hermit energy. But I'm kind of getting it's enforced upon this person, like, because you were so strong. I think this showed a mirror to this person. And again, I'm hearing from your spirit guides, I needed you to see him for what he was. I needed you to make up your own mind about him. That's part of like what you're learning. And in seeing this person from what it was, and kind of, I think in some kind of way resisting, and I feel like this is kind of internal, because I think that's what your intuition, which was the subtler energy, was like, something is not exactly right here. And so you, at the very least, you held yourself back, or you held yourself in a certain kind of energy, or you didn't act on impulse, or you looked before you leaped, or you reconsidered like what you thought here in the past. It could even be emotionally, you kind of held yourself back from like fully falling for this person, or like really going all in. You just kind of, that was really impressive is kind of what I'm getting. And that led you to like holding your power. And you know, I read something about vanity the other day, where somebody said why vanity, basically being allowed to save face and like have pride in like who you are is a comfort. And why can't we give thanks to God for our vanity like we give thanks to God for our other comforts in life? Like if you have, you know, comfortable living situation, or a comfortable job, or friends that like you, or something, like it's kind of a comfort that you were allowed. And so I think for some of you, leaning into your intuition in this way actually gave you the comfort of being proud of yourself. Maybe it didn't feel like that, because I think that you were kind of wrapped up into like, I don't know if I'm supposed to leap, or I don't know if this is love and it feels exuberant or whatever. I think this held up a very strong mirror to this other person, that they were immature and they need to grow up and be alone and be able to kind of do that. And that their little charm act that's very frivolous and doesn't really last, they don't have a lot of staying power, it's not going to work on everybody. And that you're actually very strong. I feel like in a way you kind of tamed the lion in yourself, but maybe like in another person. And there's been a painful ending here, and also the ending is in like the splitness. That's the second painful ending is what I'm getting. So this could have like fallen apart, but I feel like you being split and spirit, it can actually come in and work with you, because there's something about this energy. And I actually think this is linked to a person that again brought this like very blinding light that was exuberant, but also somehow tied with anxiety and the mind, that kind of prevented spirit from being able to get through, from being able to kind of like work with you. It blocked it in some kind of way energetically because of the thinking mind, because the thinking mind was still working through it. So it's almost like they had to let your thinking mind run with it. And they kind of trusted and knew that you were going to come out the other side and kind of realize it, but it kind of needed to run through the system. But now you kind of see the system. And I think for a lot of you can see how the mind was tangled up and confused, but there was some kind of external impetus, I want to say, is where the intuition came in at first. And that's what cracked something here. By the way, that's your good karmas. It might have felt like a bad karma, where you're like, why did I get cheated on? Like, why did I find out? Well, this person was going to be doing that anyways. It's actually like a stroke of luck that you found out about this. There's some kind of like balancing out. And for some of you, I actually think it's like spirit saying like, thank you for doing this for me. Because I think some of you got sent in here and it's like, okay, try to be strong. Like, I don't think that you necessarily had karmas that were like, well, somebody has to do this to me kind of a thing. I know that's an oversimplification, but then, yeah. And like leaving, even though there's love here, there's some type of balancing out. And you have no idea. Like, you are not seen as like boring or something like that. You're seen as the Queen of Wands. And that is something that can only be lived. There's something here about the Queen of Wands that's very active, but it's also very like experiential. Like spirit needed you to get out of the mind and to get into your body and to experience something and actually move with your body, I think, away from the situation. But only by doing that can you experience like the freedom and like the excitement of this like stability. And actually, because I think some of you left to pursue your stability in some way and you were called to do that. And that was your intuition. That was like, you don't really know what's going on over here, but you're just like called. Yes. Confirmation here. And you had fun. Did this play out for some of you where like you kind of felt like something wasn't right? That was your intuition. It was a subtle energy, even though there was a lot of exuberance. And if you were able to kind of detect that and then you leaned into it, something told you to lean into your stability and emotional and otherwise, or that you need to preserve your emotional stability. Maybe that's kind of strong energy where it's like, I'm not getting sucked into that. And then you, in some way you pursued that internally or externally and you've had happiness. Some of you could have had a child and it left this other person. It slingshot this back towards this other person. This is something you've learned here. Because I think giving in to the exuberance and not listening to that intuition and giving up some kind of emotional and earthy stability would have put you in this energy, and maybe did put you in this energy, but then you learned somehow how to get back, take your power back. But this isn't necessarily like that. It's like you learned how to restabilize, and then you learned how to protect it in some kind of way, or that's what you are learning. And that's going to give you the foundation. I'm kind of getting that. Look, this is the earth and this is the water from the temperance card is what I'm getting. These are the seeds. So the earth and the water of the temperance card, and you're going to build from that and have some type of enlightenment or realization. Look, and you cannot make this up. The Wheel of Fortune card just came out. This is like my Hand of God card, and this is changing your fate and your fortune. For some of you, you are learning. Oh my gosh, they're showing me the skiing energy again of like somebody's kind of skiing down the mountain or somebody's skiing on a lake. Both is like water energy, right? So you were skiing above like your emotions, but I think spirit just showed you how you can ski over your karmas. Because that's the thing that like the sages in their infinite love for us have tried to tell us, is that you don't have to do this hard knocks. You don't. Because you're loved by God, you're loved by spirit. You can go within and you can kind of unlock these certain things, and then life doesn't have to be so hard. And I feel like this is the energy that's tried to come in for you and say you don't have to. And so spirit showed you how to ski over your karmas or over this kind of nasty, gnarly situation. That's what you're learning. And that's where happiness and contentment comes from. But I think also with this group, it's like it has to do with, instead of going towards an exuberant energy that's like very flashy, it's more like focusing on removing the things that knock you. Recognizing, oh, that's the kind of energy that wants to knock me on my ass. It's instability. There's some kind of something here with instability. And okay, I also just heard the chicken or the egg. And here we're back to this egg. The sun or the egg, the chicken or the egg. Like there's something here about like this instability that, okay, I just heard instability and anxiety are not the same thing. Whoa. Instability and anxiety are not the same thing. You can pull them apart. You might have anxiety about instability, and instability might lead to anxiety. So if you understand this dance between instability and anxiety, oh, okay, I'm getting it. So bear with me. I'm going to kind of walk my way around. But for those of you that listen to my channel, you might have heard me mention the word Gestalt. I really, really am interested in Gestalt psychology. Gestalt means whole. And so in Gestalt psychology and like that method, they map the cycle. And I can't remember like the exact cycle, but you have an impetus and then it goes to a stimulus or something like, and the whole point of mapping the cycle is like to understand that you have to find the weak spot in the cycle that you can put some weight on to break the cycle. And that's what I feel like Spirit's asking you to do, is understanding that instability and anxiety are not the same thing, and that one leads to another. So if your anxiety, mind energy, exuberant energy is leading you towards a partner that is the embodiment of your anxiety, that person could knock your instability in the world, which then leads to a different kind of anxiety. Oh, and I'm worried about my finances, and I'm worried about my standing in the world, or I'm worried about, it's like it builds. But instability and anxiety are not necessarily the same thing. But what I'm getting is that if you focus on stability, your anxiety will go away. This also reminds me of like, I remember some therapist like had a quote that went real like mega viral, and it was like, most of my clients do not actually need therapy. They need more money. They need like more stability. So this is unpacking a bigger cycle. This is also what I'd be trying to tell people in the comments who are just like, oh my God, all she does is love readings. Do you see how deep this can go? Like it looks one way on the surface, but there's cycles here that are playing out that are so deep inside of us. And this group, it's not just love on the surface. It has to do with your intuition and your anxiety. Which am I following? And it also has to do with breaking up with instability and anxiety. It has to do with like your very stability in the world, emotional and otherwise. And maybe even a self-sabotaging, but it's maybe because of misunderstanding a genuine joy with others as well. And that could be in another person who you think, oh, that person is like so social or whatever, but they just display an exuberance. It's not, they don't feel a genuine joy with others, a genuine connection. And maybe they did with you and they fucked it up because all they do is focus on exuberance or something in order to milk people or get what they want out of people or something. Or maybe you just feel an exuberance and you think it's genuine joy. But anyways, I've already kind of said these things. Is there anything else? And then we'll kind of wrap this one up. This is the road to happiness. Like, this is a group that is kind of figuring out what genuine happiness looks like and where you belong in the world. Like, and with who. This has to do, and not just romantically, but just like also like the people that you have around. Like, do they make you feel safe? Or do they make you feel seen? But I feel like for some of you, it's like, some of you want to be seen with like the party group or something. Or that's the kind of life. I think there's something here. Again, I'm seeing like MTV in my mind from like back in the day where they used to do like the TRL parties and everybody was in the pool. And like, I used to like sit there and from my little couch in Missouri and be like, oh my gosh, these people are so cool and their lives look so fun. But actually, like when I experienced a little bit of that and I was traumatized for life. Like me being out and like partying and everything, that's when I have traumas that like really lasted my entire life. It's not as fun as it looks, but people are laughing and like there is a lot going on and stuff. And that is a display of happiness. And plus they can use editing and stuff to like make it look, exciting or whatever, but it's not like true happiness. And I feel like that's like, so you're going to places and people and things where it looks kind of happy on the outside, but maybe it isn't. And that's what's confusing your intuition here as well. Because it looks so happy. People are laughing and they're smiling and okay, I'm going to say something kind of rude, but like, do you guys remember like Steve-O from Jackass? Like, you remember all those guys? Have you seen any of them now? Like they look haggard a bit. Like they don't, and those were the guys that were always laughing and yeah, they were like ball tapping each other and stuff, but and that's probably painful. They ended up in the hospital a lot, but like for all of this, like laughing, like, heightened energy, like they look sad. They look straight up sad. And they also like kind of look confused or about certain things. Like, now that we've progressed on in our life and it's kind of cool to be well-rounded or again, more stable or like, and you don't quite necessarily see that. I'm not trying to like take a stab at them. I'm just saying like, look at a person like that versus, I don't know, somebody who is, I just watched a video from a man who's meditated for 45 years and had like a couple little tips and tricks and it really helped me out. And he just had that kind of calm, if you've been around people who genuinely do meditate, they have that kind of calm, glowy presence. Like he just had that, the ones that are still alive look like they've been through it. Exactly. Because like not even all of them are alive or, some of them are in conservatorships and things like, yeah. So this is like, look, there's like a held back and in a way they're a victim of the same kind of thing too, because they were exploited for views and everything. But, and they went down that path. And this is the other thing though, like we're all kind of figuring things out together. And I sincerely hope that they do find happiness. And I like I said, I wasn't meaning for that to be rude or to knock like their human experience. They're living their truth and we've learned from that. I know I've learned from that. Yeah. So, and somebody here might want to send a message that they're sorry. What does that fit in with intuition and anxiety? Okay. Some type of truth. Okay, so I'm hearing there's a card in one of the decks that says like you can expect to hear the apology that you want to hear, something like that. For some of you, there is something that's playing out here where the truth is like going to come out, and somebody's going to realize the truth about like what you were trying to show them, or like how valuable this like strength energy is that you have. And I think they were trying to block it off or not hear it, or like throw themselves into the party scene, or somebody who was like really doing that. And they're actually going to see the truth. And I think that's where this is leading to, is somebody like is going to realize the truth and want to actually send an apology. And they're going to realize that something needs to change, because there was like a very rocky, bad ending between, I think they're, regardless of if this was a love situation, you guys were friends on period. You were friends, and there should have been a conversation. There's a way that you treat friends, you know, and I feels like there needed to be a conversation, or maybe this person gossiped about you or something. I don't know, but it feels like that is what's happening here. Like the person on the receiving end of this, you clearing up what is your anxiety and your intuition. And so again, maybe you not going after this person anymore, you not falling for this exuberant energy, realizing that it's not true joy, like you kind of stepping back, I think, first holding yourself in strength, and then kind of processing on the inside and kind of going through this. It's having some type of like karmic effect. But again, I'm hearing your spirit guide saying like, we love you so much, hun. Like we weren't trying to put you through the ringer or anything. We just needed you to make up your own mind about him. We need you to make up your own mind about this scene or these people or like whatever situation this was. So that's what I have for you guys. I was just with Steve last year, and he's been sober for 10 years. So he's actually a very interesting person. Yeah, I have heard that he's been that way. But I also, well, I don't want to get into that because I don't exactly know. I watched this lady. I haven't watched her for a long time actually, but BJ Investigates, and there's that whole thing with like him and Bam, and there seemed to be like a lot of jealousy there, but I don't actually know what was going on. But I do know that I get vibes. So, no comment for that. Those who know better should do better. Yeah. Absolutely what happened. Should have stayed friends to just begin with, for real. Yeah. Okay. So that was pile number 1. I'm just going to throw this up, y'all. For those of you who are joining us, you are joining us at a really good time. We just finished pile number 1, and we're moving on to pile number 2, which is the Anima Mundi. Been learning to discern through all the misleading stuff in the media. Yeah. Yep. That's one thing that I feel like a lot of us have been learning this last year, is like how much the media, but also I feel like the media is a metaphor for like just the way that things are presented. And we each know how to do this in our own life, right? Like there's, I'm sure, been times when you've been going through a hard time and you don't exactly want to broadcast it to everybody. So you put a smile on your face and you kind of, show up. But there's been certain like cases that I've been following that I'm sure some of you have been following. I'm not trying to stir up like a bunch of drama, because at the end of the day, we don't know any of these people and we don't really know what's going on. But there's like a big case right now that really is exposing like the Hollywood machine behind like exactly what goes on and the way that people are treated. That has really like opened my eyes, where it's like, wow, like that is not what I thought was going on. Actually, there's been several of those. And to be honest, like it's hard because a lot of them are like women who originally kind of came out like with a difficult story, and you're like, oh my God, like that sucks. And then like you find out that at the very least there's more going on to the story than exactly what that was, and that it feels like we're all just pawns in their game. And like, I don't know. But then also there's other things with more serious consequences that have been unearthed as well. It's been so triggering for me as a CSA victim. Yeah, eye-opening. Loyalty is not a complex concept. Friends don't bring repeating harm. Yeah. A lot of those things, it's like you just have to overcome like your own id, or your own selfishness to be able to be loyal. I don't know. We're all figuring it out, and it's hard, and nobody is perfect. And I don't think that we should hold each other to like a perfect standard. But also, I don't think that I think if things are said in a respectful way, like it's not bad to point out certain things, I don't know, to your friends and stuff. All right. Pile number 2. Should we compassion? Compassion, compassion, compassion. Dancing through life. All right. Pile number 2. I kind of want to use the same deck, but I probably shouldn't. Okay, so pile number 2. Oh, wow. Okay, so what is anxiety versus intuition? Okay, so this card wanted to flip over and it's the escape. And I'm hearing like escape hatch. I left when things got hard. So there's something here to do with that. Conversation is at the bottom of the deck. So, and look, time. So there's some kind of anxiety wrapped up in a conversation. And there's some type of, okay, so what is anxiety and what is intuition? Let me just get one more card out of this deck and then I think I'm going to move to a different one. Look, responsibilities. I have to take care of my financial and emotional needs. And then values, we have too many differences. Unappreciated. And look, true colors. Okay. Oh, wow. I keep hearing this song. It's like when the roof caved in and the truth came out, I just didn't know what to do. Look, legal matters. Not happy. I feel like somebody here was caught doing something. And this might be you, but this could have also been somebody else. If this is somebody else, it might be that spirit is trying to illuminate maybe why your intuition was so thrown, because this person was the one in a struggle between their intuition and their anxiety. And I'm just seeing a compass like twirling around because this person wasn't doing anything. Or also I'm seeing somebody like kind of babbling like and like not actually spitting anything out. And you're like, I don't know what this means, like that you're doing that. Because I feel like it's either there was a conversation that was going on and this person like escape hatched in the middle of the conversation. They like just checked out in some way. Or they left instead of having a conversation, or mid conversation, this person could have just gotten up and like left or something. And there's something about time. Like they maybe thought if they gave it enough time. And it's because they were trying to avoid their true colors, because I think okay, so there's 2 different conversations here that they're showing me. Because I think that for some of you, you were wanting to have one kind of conversation, but this person knows that they needed to bring in a piece of information here that would have made the conversation about something different entirely. And maybe this was true on both sides in a certain way. But yeah, so somebody here maybe needed to say that they have responsibilities. Maybe they have a family. And that's why they left you feeling unappreciated. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm getting. Or maybe they left you with all the responsibilities and they left you feeling unappreciated and they ran away from that. So like if you were in a relationship with this person and maybe the 2 of you had a family, this person left you feeling unappreciated and they didn't actually deal with their responsibilities. And they could be saying like, that we have different values. But I think if that's the case, like if you were in a family or relationship with this person and they just kind of were like, well, you're supposed to go to work and you're supposed to take care of the kids and you're supposed to do all the housework and service me after dark. And you're like, and what do you do? And they're like, I only go to work. And you're like, question mark, question mark, question mark. And they're like, no, that's my value system. And that's the way that I think it should be. And there's not misogyny or inequity baked into that at all. Like, I feel like they're starting to see it a different way now. It could even, there's some type of mistake. There could have been a financial repercussion to this, and it kind of made this person see things in a different way. They're realizing that they're seeing some type of mistake. Now, this also could be, though, somebody that had some type of responsibility elsewhere, and I feel like they needed to illuminate that for you. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that this person was cheating, like that this person had a whole other family or something, but for some of you, I mean, if the shoe fits, it just also could be that maybe they had kids or something, and there was some type of, it feels like there was a conversation and somebody, you were maybe confused, wanting to have this conversation, but it was because to you, the conversation looked one way. But I feel like this person needed to have a different conversation on a different level. In order to do that, they needed to bring in some type of information here that would reveal their true colors, or like the true colors of the situation. And there's anxiety and there's intuition. I feel like their intuition was telling them that they needed to do that. Even if they were going to say something pig-headed, because I'm kind of getting that. Their intuition was telling them to do the hard thing and to illuminate their true colors here. And their anxiety was telling them not to, and to run away, either in the conversation in a way that maybe was hard for you to detect, but you felt like this was a weird conversation that you were having, or and that it wasn't actually getting to the root cause of anything, or they actually literally left before having a conversation or during the conversation. Okay, so I'm gonna get another too emotional card, I guess, here. Look, goodbye. Yeah, this person's sad about like an ending. They're sad about losing you, I feel like, here. And maybe your intuition doesn't know about that. Like, so now this, because I feel like somebody here, I feel like what Spirit is wanting to illuminate is that this person was caught in a web of their own lies. And I just heard a web of their own disguise, maybe even, where they were stuck between their intuition and their anxiety. And I think Spirit is wanting to let you know that they were putting the pressure on this person and trying to illuminate their intuition that they needed to reveal themselves in some kind of way. But I think that they lost you. I think they're upset because they should have, maybe if there was like some type of family situation for some, like this person has been needing to close that chapter for a while, but they were afraid of like paying out, or they were just like afraid to do that. Maybe because there's I think a lot wrapped up here. And I think that's where this person's intuition and anxiety is also different, because I think their intuition is telling them to leave this behind, but there's a lot of anxiety around value system. What are people going to think? I think family is like a big thing. Like there might be family expectation, but then also like responsibilities, like their anxiety is wrapped up like in their responsibilities kind of energy. So they didn't say goodbye to something here, and then they lost you is what I'm getting. Or if you were in a family with this person, it could be that they didn't have a conversation about like money, responsibility, values ahead of time. And so then they like lost you. And maybe there was like some type of legal case or something, or this person got caught doing something. And then you had to find your way out, and you had to find your way towards self-love. And I feel like that's all you could do in this situation. This is reminding me of a reading that I did not too long ago. I can't remember if it's the Patreon reading or if it's coming out on the channel, but it was somebody here. I was like, well, one person has actually made a type of peace with this situation because they know that a conversation should have unfolded in a certain way. They know that there should have been some kind of explanation, like of why somebody did something or why they acted the way that they did. And there should have been emotion behind it. And there should have been an apology. And without those things, this person is not coming back. They're not listening. They're not taking you seriously. They're not dropping their guard. Anything like that. So I feel like if there was a conversation here, it didn't have those elements, even though somebody's intuition was kind of telling them that maybe to express feelings. Okay, so yeah, I'm just getting that somebody here had feelings that they didn't express. And for some of you, it's like feelings of love and like romance. They also maybe had some like money issues or like bad credit. And it could be because they've got something else going on in the background that they didn't tell you about. And somebody who really doesn't know how to get to self-love, essentially, but I feel like this is also a person that is kind of an unsympathetic character. And this is something that I should really get better at because, but I don't know, because also I feel like it's okay to protect your space and to kind of call a spade and to be like, you're working your own self out. And I have respect for that journey, but I also need to get involved in it. In order to preserve like your own sanity and like to protect yourself. But yeah, I feel like this person essentially doesn't know how to get to their own self-love. I do think that whoever like this is, that if they have like a different family elsewhere or something, or if they have kids elsewhere, I feel like there's something here about family, like their family of origin, that puts a lot of pressure on them. And this person really doesn't have any self-love, and they don't know how to get love either, because I think they try to capitulate to too many people. And I think they've gotten themselves into a situation where they're trying to capitulate to too many people. I don't think it looks like that to you, because I think where you are at in the situation, because you're not somehow plugged into this family thing, to them, it's like you can eat shit and kick rocks. Like that's the way that this person's treating you. It's like, you're the collateral damage. That was another thing that came out in one of the readings. It's like you are the collateral damage. You and your heart and your feelings and your life and your stability end up being collateral damage to this person's drama that I just heard the word scandal. This person could have like involved you in some type of scandal. I don't know. And so I feel like your intuition was maybe telling you to be happy single, that this is a karmic tie. There's some type of toxic lifestyle. This is like kind of, this person even energetically is kind of like not really giving into this. Yeah, there maybe is some gossip, or they're afraid of what people are going to say. This person is really lost. Like okay, so I feel like a lot of you are dealing with this person. And what Spirit is wanting to illuminate about intuition and anxiety, again, it's like they're struggling with it. And that's why they're not sending out clear signals. So their energy signature is like all over the place. This is reminding me too of like, I was reading some book and they were talking about meditation and how it like brings, they were measuring this in some kind of way of it, bringing the chakra centers, the energy centers in the body into some kind of like alignment. And you can kind of feel this, like if you try to like tap into it, this person feels all frizzled out, like kind of all just everywhere. And so they kind of bring that same mess into their own life. Yeah. So they could have returned to a negative situation. There was some type of like time. What else, Spirit? What are you saying about the anxiety in this situation? Maybe they gave you anxiety. They were supposed to follow their intuition to not give you anxiety. Yeah, look, the Moon card. So it's deeply emotional, like the anxiety here. It feels like I'm not good enough, or it feels like this person could have been really afraid about an ending here. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I feel like maybe this is, take this how it resonates. Could be you, could be the person you're dealing with. But they have these like feelings here, deep like emotional feelings for you that I think that they're trying to hide in some way. And I'm just seeing this person kind of froze, like there's something that they want to say and they're kind of crying on the inside, but then they don't know how to say it. It's just like, and I feel like they're dressed nice. They seem like they got everything going on and they're projecting some kind of like image or something, but they're like, and they're like, what they're scared of is like this death energy. They're afraid of, I think, like losing you, or they're afraid. It's like they're watching an accident happen in slow motion and just like the morbidity of that. But it's like on an emotional level. And I said the word accident, and it's like, I think this person, oh my gosh, it's almost like you, oh my gosh. I feel like on a karmic level, you were like the sacrifice. This person didn't understand that this was building, like whatever this was, it feels like, again, they have a family, kids, responsibilities of some kind. And again, maybe this was with you. Something here was building, and it has to do with their feelings about like the responsibility, energy, or whatever that they are tied into. It was building. And I think there was a very unhealthy situation here that they should have let go of. And it maybe was an abusive situation as well for some, emotionally or otherwise. And it goes into like cycles, but I feel like maybe even as a family, they're projecting that everything's okay for their, they're putting on a little show and a little performance for their family of origin to say like, look, I'm living our values and it's working for me, even though it's not. And so they just thought that didn't have any consequence. And then I feel like they somehow saw you or met you. Then they needed to have some kind of conversation and reveal their true colors. And all they can do is watch in this like silence and this like crying in this like emotional space where they're projecting something else. Like, and I think whatever they're projecting to you is that they don't want you to see that they're struggling in some way, or that they have this whole entire situation going on here. And then boom, they watch you get hit by this school bus, and it was a lesson. But it does feel like the lesson is that they can't keep the lid on the pressure cooker and like control everything. It's going to pop out in a side that you don't even, because it seems like this person was trying to keep everything under control. And for some, it's even like their lies. They were waiting for time, or they were putting off a conversation. I think that they were putting off having a conversation in their like family. And again, if you were with this person, it could be that their family of origin was too involved. They were putting off having a conversation there. But I think for some of you, this person had like a whole other situation, even if maybe they weren't together, which for a lot of you, I think that they are, and they're trying to pretend like that they have that this is something more than it is. And they're trying to pretend like I'm living traditional values. Don't you love me, mom? Like, it's something here like that. They were putting off having some kind of conversation, and they thought that they were, and also they were hiding their feelings, and they were hiding secrets, I think. And they were keeping this all kind of like tamped down. And they thought that they like maybe had it under control, and Spirit's just showing this person that they don't actually have it under control. And then the steam kind of pushed out this other side. And I feel like that was at you, somebody that I think they had real feelings for. Like, and I don't know who you are in this person's life, because for some of you, I'm even getting that you could have been a friend. Like this doesn't even have to be a romantic kind of situation. You could have been a friend. Maybe you were trying to help this person. You knew that they were stuck in some type of ABUSIVE situation, and you were trying to be calm, because the last thing that you want to do to somebody who's in that situation is leave them isolated and alone. Like they have to have like friends and people that they can rely on, but then you also can't get sucked in to where now you are also being whipped around by the leash by this situation too. So it like becomes this weird like dance. So you could have even been a friend. And again, I feel like this person is like they're wanting to, and for some, like they can't even cry or anything because it's like you're going to roll your eyes because of the level of pain that they caused you is like ridiculous. And it feels also like a side effect because it feels like, again, I'm like holding all of this in and then it just like, but the steam is coming out because it's so pressurized. It's coming out with such full force that, and I feel like they needed to land on the grenade. You know what I'm saying? They planted this bomb in their own life. And it was just a ticking time bomb. And they didn't want it because they knew, I think their intuition was telling them, you got to clean this up. Okay. This has gone on for long enough. It's going to be what's best for everybody. It's going to blow up in the moment. This is kind of reverse devil energy, where devil energy for me, it's like where you follow an impulse to get some kind of short reward in the moment, but it's at the expense of your long-term happiness. This to me, it's like this person needs to blow something up in their life, and that's going to suck in the short term, but in the long term, that's what's going to lead to everybody's happiness. They need to be honest and they need to own up to that. And so I feel like this person was just like left there watching you because they didn't listen to their intuition. And also it feels like even at the last minute, there's something that in a conversation with you, they could have said. They could have said, look, this has been going on for a long period of time. I don't know. And it feels like at the very least, it would have maybe left the door open for you to have a conversation in the future if they ever did clean this up. But at least they respect you enough to give you like a decision or something here in this. But they really could have been trying to make sure that you didn't hear something. You didn't hear about anything. There was a lesson here. This person did actually learn a lesson. You shouldn't have been the scapegoat, or you shouldn't have received the full brunt of it because like you didn't do anything wrong. This person just had like emotions for you. Real emotions. Home emotions. Like even if you're a friend, you know. Look, the 7 of Swords and the Lovers. So that's like sneaking around. Yeah. And I feel like you had to be, sorry if you can hear that motorcycle. Some kids around me soup up their like little bikes and things. Maybe that's relevant for some of you. Yeah, so I feel like you had to just be really strong. Maybe you threw yourself into work or something here, but you had to be really, really strong. And yeah, defensive. Maybe for some of you too, it's like you thought that this situation was a happy situation because that's the impression that they're giving to everybody. So this is like, there's anxiety on both sides now. Yeah, like you have emotions and anxiety because this person's like maybe married, or like there's some type of like, and you're like, the fuck am I? Look, the High Priestess. Yeah, maybe you just work this out via intuition as well. Or you saw that, yeah, like this person over here with like the Lovers. But I feel like because they put you in a position where you had to witness that and there's actual love here that wasn't communicated, I think that they might also have seen you with some kind of lover's energy. Now, this also could have been a friend, though. I just feel like this person's kind of jealous of anybody that gets to have like your beautiful, light, kind of loving energy and attention, where you don't feel standoffish and like, like, you know, this person's going to walk into a room and you're like, stay away from me. Like, you know, because it was so sensitive between the two of you. Like, I think this person they could have even watched something bad happen between you and a friend, and this person wanted to like step in, like with the 7 of Swords, like how he's stealing her purse. And this person just like sat back and watched. They reaped what they sowed in this situation. But I think also they might have seen you go independent, like actually be independent, which again is very ironic because that's the one thing this person couldn't do. This person just sits in nasty shit for like long periods of time and just lets it bubble and fester and then just like kind of puts on a performance. And I do feel bad for this. But other people kind of take strays is like what I'm getting. So they watched you in some way break free and go independent and like rely on yourself or something here, which is what this person should have done. I think before they ever even met you. So that they were like fully single and independent, but also stable because it's coming through 9 of Pentacles. They needed to like move slow in their life and like actually kind of build things up. It could be that this family situation over here, maybe should never have even happened to begin with because it happened with somebody that they weren't listening to their intuition. Maybe they were listening to their anxiety. Their anxiety, I think, also is tied up in their family. Like, I think it stems from their family. Like, their family basically giving them the impression that they will not be loved unless they give over the keys to the kingdom. They give over their mind, a heart. Like, this person, basically their family on a certain level, their family wouldn't think that they're doing this, but they're like, you feel what we tell you to feel for who we tell you to feel it for. You think what we tell you to think about the topics we tell you to think it about. And if you just, give over your entire self to that, then you will get our love and respect. And we will smile when we are around you, and we will show off pictures of you and your grandkids and stuff like that, But am I interested in getting to know you and what you actually feel for different? No. Am I concerned about figuring out what you think? No. Because all those things are wrong, and you need to just do what so that I look good in the community, and I look like I raised something stable and everything is under control. Whose control? Not your control, my control. That's kind of like what I'm getting from like a matriarch or a patriarch in their family. And that feels very cultural or something here like that. And I feel like you sensed this out, but yeah. So this person, I think, had to see. They experienced somehow what you experienced as well. There was maybe a fight. This person feels like they can't clear up a fight. And all of it's because they didn't listen to their intuition. And they thought, I think for a long time, this person really thought that they were getting away with stuff, or that this was, again, a tolerable level of permanent unhappiness. Because they were like, oh, I can just keep, putting on the show. And I think this person had double life energy too, where they were like, I can just like sneak around and like whatever. All of this is immoral. And again, this is maybe a family too that is like, we're so religious, yet morality just escapes them. They're like, they've raised somebody, what's that quote that says like strict parents raise secretive kids? I think that's what is going on here. And because the focus is not about morality. Like, even if this person was like raised in a hyper traditional, they don't care about whether their kid turned out to be a good person. They care about the image. And that was very much communicated to this person. And I think they thought, well, I can safeguard the image, and then I can live this double life, and I can be myself. And that's when they met you. And I think you felt like home, not their actual family. I think, this is something here. Their anxiety, family and home are two different things. Similar to what I said in the first pile of anxiety and instability are two different things. Family and home are two different things. And I think this person actually felt home. Home is where the heart is, I just heard. And like, there's some kind of inner realm, inner dimension of home that I think this person felt when they were around you. Even if you are this person's friend, like maybe you're their best friend or something. And like, but they couldn't like run off like Thelma and Louise with you like they wanted to do maybe, and like just live with you and like your cats or something. Like maybe that's the life that genuinely this person's heart was telling them to live. And for you guys, I just literally saw like two girls like just like knitting and like stitch and bitch and like, hey, do you want to go to Montana? Like, like that kind of thing. Like, and you guys just living together and being golden girls together. Like, I literally just saw that. And this person doesn't feel like they can do that, or it could be like that this is a romantic kind of situation. But yeah, I feel like this person was just like, ugh. And there's something in that they couldn't say because they're too busy being plastic. They're too busy being plastic. And I think this person too, like genuinely doesn't feel like they did anything wrong. And I think that's because they are like, all I ever do is live my life for other people. But you're not included in that. They fucked you 7 ways to Sunday. You got an uppercut to the stomach, an uppercut to the heart, one straight across the face, and then you got kicked when you were down. That's what this person did to you on an emotional level. And then they want to turn around to you because they know that you actually are soft-hearted, or like you're reasonable, and you care about how they think and what they feel and things. That this person wants to turn around and be like, all I ever do is like do everything for everybody else. And you're like, you see that, I think, in this person. But you also have to recognize that you are not included in that. This person does everything for a certain group of people, and it's not altruistic either. It's self-serving. The reason this person does that is self-serving. They do it out of fear. They do it out of anxiety. Their intuition has not ever a day in their life told them to be over here. Their indoctrination has. And their family has, I think. And so this person wants to run over and cry to you because like they know that you actually love them. And that and because of that, you'll give them some grace. These people never give them any grace. This is somebody who will give up everything for people who don't give a shit about them. And they give them everything. They give them their time, their money, their respect, and you get none of that. So I think like that, like your intuition got all wound up because you did love this person, but they weren't taking care of you. And they aren't going to, because this is not an altruistic, I do everything for everybody else. This is a self-centered, I do everything for everybody else. But it's self-centered. It's something to do with self-preservation. It has to do with this mask. It has to do with their standing in their like family or their society here. Yeah. There's something just totally plastic. And they feel like they stink. And they feel like they're lacking. And they feel like they wouldn't know what to do. But they do, because their intuition and their heart is like, you feel at home with this other person. You feel sad, like, because you can't say what you need to say, or you can't fight for them the way that you should be able to fight for them because you haven't cleaned up your mess. Okay. So basically, I feel like this person would have to reveal their true colors. Also, like, some of you could have been humiliated here in this, or like, but this is the victory card. I feel like you could have been like angry and humiliated, and you still like left and were victorious and got some type of wish fulfillment. And this person is maybe, again, I'm just seeing this person stunned in this like crying emotional state, this cyclical energy. Their whole life is just illusions and secrecy and putting on a show, when actually they feel like something different on the inside. They feel like nerdier, and they've invested a lot though in this situation as well. Money, time. They're just making it worse for themselves. They keep adding value to this situation over here. So the more time goes on, the more money that they have to lose, the more social standing they have to lose. Again, they needed to rip the Band-Aid off early on. And then they could have actually had and I think this person feels sad and upset that you're actually calling them a Regina George or something, where you're like, no, you act like you're nice and everything looks like great on the surface, but actually there's a mean undertow here. And this person resents that. They resent being called mean, but they are that. In your life, they are that. And this person's really resistant to seeing that, because their anxiety. Their anxiety, they're fully entrapped by their anxiety. And also I think by their parents' anxiety, because all of this, you know what this is? This is fear. Their like whole, and their family is gripped by it too, because it's like, oh my God, what if you don't live the life that I tell you to? You know, I tell you to jump when you're 18 and I tell you to jump when you're 35, and it's the fucking same. There's been no progress here. There's been no maturation. There's been this person is still forever under their parents' like thumb and under their parents' control. All of this is fear. And it comes from like their parents are like, oh my God, what if you lived the life what if you had a blue streak in your hair and you were a lesbian? And what are my friends going to say? And it's like, so this person does to you what they've been done to. That is true. But this is the family curse. This is what it is to get involved with this family, I think. They have to realize they've become the same thing. And I think they feel like they are not that, like to their kids and to their partner. Because again, they get the best of them and they're putting on this performance. But you know who does get it? You, the person that they actually love. You get treated like that. Like who you genuinely are is stamped out and it doesn't matter. And I think this person wants to turn to their parents and be like, why don't you love me? Why could I never express myself? Why can't I like have a blue streak in my hair and run off and join the circus? And you still love me. Why is that not a part of our relationship? And they feel angry about that, but they've done the same thing to you. And so if they want to find the answer to that question, they don't need their parents to answer it. They need to look inside of themselves. This person, I think, genuinely has been victimized, and they've been victimized for a long time, but this is an adult. And I feel like this person has been an adult for a while. So there's like a handicap here. They need this person. Yeah. I feel like their intuition has told them to take accountability for their own life and to start over and to be the Queen of Wands, male or female, to be the Queen of Wands, to just tell people how it's going to be, to start an argument, to lay things out as well. There's like an equation here, like laying things out here about the past, and maybe again about some kind of friendship or somebody that they didn't want to be with, or anyway. Akilandra, thank you so much for the super chat. Why don't you love me? Yeah, it's like, why don't you love me? And that is the energy that this person has now put out into the world. But this person has a blind spot. You conveniently exist in their blind spot. They conveniently exist in their parents' blind spot. Like their actual humanity. Your actual humanity exists in this person's blind spot. They didn't stand up to the forces that were doing that. They did the same thing their parents did. They are their parents' children. Like they have to break the cycle. And maybe they are like for their kids, because I think this person is maybe they're breaking the cycle because they genuinely do not care like if how their kids want to express themselves. And that's kind of breaking the cycle on the surface of things, like, but the deeper root of it needed to be broken with you, is what I'm getting. Somebody that they truly loved and allowed to take all the shit and get none of the good part of them. And I think that disturbs them, that you didn't get they love you so much and that you love them, and you were the person that didn't get the best part of them. You didn't get their time. You didn't get their best years, is what I'm hearing. Like you didn't get the stability or, and I think they feel the same way about their parents. Yeah. I think they'd also maybe like to blame their partner for this, but it's them and their true colors. I also feel like there's a conversation that they needed to have, maybe not just with you, but like possibly with a therapist or somebody like behind closed doors where they could just kind of talk about this, and they would have actually, I feel like this person kind of knows that somebody would tell them to be strong and to move towards the thing that they know that they want. But I think this person's just scared. Like they're really scared, and that's their anxiety, because that's a kind of fear. And their intuition was telling them to have important conversations and not to take too long to do it. They have a little bit of time here, but that there was a timing thing that this person's intuition was saying now. And they kept blowing past it, because I think it was even before they met you. It was like, get out of this because your partner's coming. And this person didn't do it. And they were like, I think that I'm doing okay here because I can just have this clandestine existence or something. So this made me feel really sad. I feel like this person's in a sad, depressed place, but I also think this made you feel really sad and depressed. And yeah, so I think I'm gonna leave that there. Yeah, respect thy mother and thy father. To me means respect your parents and those who came before them by not repeating their mistakes. Learn from them and help your bloodline evolve. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I'm going to put this back up here. We just finished pile number 2 for those of you who are joining, and we are getting ready to move on to pile number 3, which is the gym. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim charoo. What's that from? We can't help those who don't want to help themselves. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome. I don't know, man. This is like dragging up energy for me too, because it's like, I feel like I did all those hard things. And so I do know, like, it's like no joke to move away from your family and to not have, a safety net in this world. That's really, really scary, and it's really, really hard. And I do understand why people don't do it. But, I mean, like the pain that is caused, even like if you were going to stay with your family, stay and have some backbone, stay and have some fight in you. Like, I don't know. Where's my umbrella? Okay. He had blue hair when we met. Okay. I'm just gonna compassion again here. And we'll go ahead and move into pile number 3. I was his safety net, but he trashed me and blamed me for everything. Yeah. Okay. Oh, no. Pile number 3, the gem. Okay, Spirit. What is the difference between the anxiety and intuition here? Oh, love and money. Love and money. This kind of like, I feel like there's some kind of split here of like, do I go for love or do I go for money? Yeah. And I feel like love is the intuition and the money is the anxiety. Okay. Yeah, the gym. Okay, I just heard the diamond in the rough. So it's like you could have met a person that is like this diamond in the rough. But it's like maybe hidden here. It could be buried like inside of this person too, because I always get underworld energy from like the nest that is kind of like around the gym. So it's like there's a gym like under this underworld energy. So this, I feel like for a lot of you could be like, do I become the diamond in the rough that there's a lot of scorpionic energy here. So like there would need to be some type of transformation here. So do I become that and like let this inner self shine and live my life in the energy of love, which doesn't just mean like, again, romantic partners. It's like then allowing the people who are drawn to me, who love me, for my diamond in the rough energy to love me. But Scorpio can be a very polarizing energy. Pluto is very polarizing. So it could be like, do I emerge and like say what I love or who I love and alienate people who are going to have something to say, and like it's going to repel some people? Or do I reveal my heart or like that beautiful inner gem, like, yeah. And it's because it's going to repulse some people and it's going to really attract other people. And that's, I feel like, living in the energy of love. But then I feel like there's anxiety energy that's coming in that's saying, well, I need to people please. I need everybody to like me. So I have to bury that energy. And something here about the gem, like the actual gem, like an actual like hard gem, that is like valuable or worth something. But it feels like having to engage in a lot of that scorpionic energy, which is secrecy, hiding, power games, strategy, in order to hide the money, protect the money, get the money. I don't know, something here like that. Or I don't know, to protect some kind of money from somewhere else. I don't know. Okay, so what do you have to say about this, Spirit, with this anxiety and like the love and the money energy? The almighty dollar. It's not so almighty these days. So, okay, that might be relevant here. Because, okay, there might be something that plays out in the long term here, like about the money. Okay, so like the dollar thing, because the dollar is like losing in its value, but it's only doing that. It's doing that in part because nobody has faith in America anymore to keep their word and to be sane and to be neutral. And now that it's kind of crazy and America is trying to, throw its weight around and it's not being that kind of neutral. If you're going to have the world's base currency, you have to be that stable, neutral, kind of thing. So people are selling the treasuries. They're dumping that more and more. There's at least going to be a multipolar world, or there's going to be some kind of switch, you can tell. Like it's just a matter of time before that happens, but it's because of a lack of faith and trust. And so I feel like, and it's because, again, that scorpionic energy, because of Scorpio wants power and it wants the money and it maybe wants to divide people in order to get that. But it feels like only in the long term, this isn't going to work out because trust has been lost. Look, what is this? Petty gains. I knew it. Petty gains. Yeah. So like anxiety is telling somebody here to go towards money, and maybe to, again, with that scorpionic energy, it's like maybe to use other people's money or to go after other people's money. This is kind of schmoozing energy, or to go and be around moneyed people. And then with a Scorpio energy, have an agenda, but be secretive about that agenda and come across like maybe you want something else, maybe that you want love, or, yeah. And just to be very secretive and have a strategy and hide yourself in order to get some type of like money, or move towards love, be yourself, say the things that you want to say, express yourself, express your heart, knowing that it's going to alienate some people. Look, false flame puts you on an emotional roller coaster and causes distress. So it could be that there's some kind of person that you want to go after that feels like it's going to bring money and success and acclaim. And then there's maybe a true love path. These don't even have to be two romantic options. It could be like making a deal with a boss that you know is underhand or whatever. It's actually going to cost you this love situation. And if you think you can do both, you can only do both with some kind of secrecy and you know it. But it feels like hiding something here from like your partner. Maybe it's a way that you make money, or it's like how the sausage is made kind of a thing. If somebody here knew how the sausage was made, they wouldn't be okay with something here. But teaming up with a false flame here leads to petty gains. So, and I think this is wrapped into some kind of anxiety energy, because it's like, well, how am I going to make money if I don't do it in like a deceitful, underhand kind of way? Or how am I going to make my way in the world if I don't have power or money or status? Look, unexpected event. Breaking news of unexpected disputes and rising tensions, engaged in constant battles, facing relentless opposition. I do feel like leaning into the anxiety, which is saying I'm hearing I think it's an MIA song. It's like, and you won't need money because you won't be alone. So it's like there's something here about like money, but then somebody here is going to feel very alone because they have money, they sit at the top of the pile, but they're going to be alone because the people who are around them are sycophantic. It's like attracts like kind of a thing. So, and I'm also hearing like live by the sword and die by the sword. So it could be that like if somebody over here goes after this path of like, I just heard fame, money. Did I chase the glitz and glam of money, fame, and power? If so, that will forever go down my lamest hour. So I feel like somebody here could have chased the glitz and glamour, money, fame, and power, but they did it by hiding themselves. They actually sought it out. Like they were like, I want the money, I want the power, and so there could have been people that they loved romantically, friendship-y, and it wasn't ideal for them to be around or something here. So I think they tried to hold on to this maybe in secret or in private or something here like that, but they went after the power. So they tricked these people. Eventually, these people are going to get dissatisfied because they're going to know that this person's not invested in them or that it's superficial or whatever. Or something is going to come, so some kind of unexpected event that's going to like leak out. But I also feel like whoever's doing this then falls prey to the same thing, where they think that maybe the people over here that they're around, just because there's a familiarity, they see their faces all the time and stuff. So they kind of falsely want to trust these people. And there could be people that they think they can trust, but actually they're looking in a mirror. So that's maybe the unexpected event is, I got taken in by a snake. I've been a snake and I got taken in by a snake. But they aren't thinking that somebody else is pretending to want love or pretending to be a certain way in order to get close to their money and their connections and their power. And so something here has exploded in their face or will do, because like attracts like. It's the same energy. And there needs to be a choice here. But the anxiety is leading down the path of money. How am I going to be protected? But there's quite a bit of protection and just love and comfort and stability that comes in through just having people that love you around you. You don't need as much money, maybe. You don't need as much protection. Look, help. So I feel like somebody here is like, actually, I am kind of getting that somebody did follow this path. And they followed, and actually, I think they thought that they were chasing something robust, like again, with the power or whatever. But actually they were chasing their anxiety, and all it did is give them more anxiety. And I think this person tells himself like, the more money that I have, the less anxiety I'm going to have, because I'm going to have more control over my world. And also because nobody's going to really see the real me, which is kind of flailing, and I feel small and I feel scared and I want love, but I can't have that because I need to have the power, and I alienated love like here in the past. But it's like, help me. Maybe because there is like an unexpected event. Crying out for support. Yeah, because it's like somebody here, they have maybe money and power and they're crying out for support, but then like they don't know who to trust. Like everybody around them is, I think, just a sycophant of some kind. So maybe they want to gamble. Somebody here could be taking a gamble to reach out to somebody that they actually love, maybe from their past. Maybe somebody that they alienated could be a friend, and it's like they remember like, you actually loved me, and it's like bets on uncertain outcomes. Look, condemnation. There could have been some gambling to get more money or power here, and then there was some type of like condemnation here. Public scrutiny causes you to question your worth and motives. Facing public opinion challenges your resilience and resolve. But it was all false anyways, because with the Scorpio energy, there's always something hidden and strategic and power hungry. And I feel like that's just been exposed. Somebody here is really, really wanting to reach out. I just heard to the love of their life, or to somebody that they love and that they know loves them. They could have been trying to get somebody to reach out to them first through gaining money and power, but they're thinking about reaching out first to initiate some type of conversation. Look, digital whisper. So it could be like online, but it's like just a whisper, like I don't know. Because they need this person. Somebody here feels like they're drowning, but it's like that's where and if this hasn't happened yet, then that's where the voice of anxiety leads, is like down the money rabbit hole, and it's going to pull actually away from the love energy. But there is a kind of comfort, and also I feel like there's going to be people who are really wowed by somebody here who chooses the love path and is the diamond in the rough, goes in for the diamond in the rough. Maybe that is the love of their life. So this is somebody really special, like maybe doesn't have the trappings of money and wealth and everything, or is seen as like lesser than by this group of people who wants to be around them anyway, kind of thing, who wants to have sycophants surrounding you. And the sycophants are all rubbing together, thinking like they're cool. Like how nasty on an energetic level. And they're like, oh my God, we're all sycophantic. None of us are acting like it though. And we're like the top of the pops, like in what universe? So, but they either are going in for the diamond in the rough, but they also have to become the diamond in the rough. Somebody who could turn away from this. Somebody who it's like they could go down this road, but then chooses not to, sort of a thing. That's what leads to. So what's the intuition saying here about this gem energy? It could even be that like who they are or who they want to go towards is somebody where the scorpionic energy is trying to get at this person who's the diamond in the rough. Because the diamond in the rough, this is, I keep saying that, like reference to Aladdin, this is somebody who could go into the cave of wonders and touch nothing but the lamp. They're not greedy. Yeah, there's a comparison here. And it's a comparison of like the paths you can go down and the life you live, but this is all intertwined. So it's a comparison here. And one path is anxiety, and it comes from a place of low self-esteem. And therefore that is the fruit of that tree. It will keep building the cycles of low self-esteem because it's not actually the answer. Then another path is the path of love. And I think that somebody here though feels skeptical about a happy ending. And they definitely, like if this is a woman, they definitely don't feel like a man is going to come in on the horse because we've been kind of dismantling that for a while. Yeah, so social mask, wearing a mask to hide their true emotions and avoid vulnerability. That's what I'm really getting here. Plus I'm struggling with my speech all of a sudden. So it's like, I don't know, like kind of, yeah, what to say or how to say it or how to come off smooth or something here. So they're quiet a lot. I feel like, okay, so if you go, somebody here, I just keep getting pulled down this path of anxiety and money because I really feel like somebody here has gone down that path. They have to wear a social mask to hide their emotions and true vulnerability. And I feel like they are maybe smiling a lot, but quiet most of the time, quiet a lot of the time, to allow people to fill in the blanks about them. But then when they say certain things, it's very potent or it's meant to kind of, I know this sounds like I'm almost describing a celebrity, but I don't think that I am. I mean, I think that I'm just, well, I mean, take it however it resonates, but it operates in that same way where they just, their entire life becomes PR. The walls feel like they're closing in on this person. I actually feel like somebody's walled themselves in. And I'm supposed to be talking about, okay, now I think this person's recognizing, or what Spirit's illuminating is in the past, there was a moment of anxiety versus intuition. And it was this like, do I go in for love or do I go in for money? And it is a fork in the road here. And I think somebody went for money. So now that they're in that position, what does it look like to listen to their intuition? Look, Page of Pentacles. Maybe starting over, like having a lot less money. Page of Swords. Let's see. What is this? What does it look like to lean into their intuition? Yeah, like I feel like this person has to overcome this obstacle by being independent. And it could be that this person that they're wanting to be with is independent, is like, I work alone. Like somebody here is like a lone wolf kind of energy, and that might be who they're like drawn to. Or like them just becoming that. Again, it's like, it just feels like one step in front of the other, them showing their light. This is the birthplace of the sun. Oh, okay, I get it. So I feel like this person chased their Rahu. So I do think that there might have been some type of achievement here. So like if this person went down this path, like they're following their anxiety, I still think in a way it was towards some type of dharmic path. Like it was in a way towards their North Node energy. But now it's like they could have thought that that was their sun though. Okay, this is getting a little confusing. So their Rahu, right? Rahu thinks that it's the sun. It thinks that it can do the things that the sun can do, that it can be a leader, that it can be the center of gravity, that it can be kind of life-giving. But I feel like this person did chase their North Node, but there's a confusion about that energy. So they have accomplished something here to do with their destiny. They have fulfilled that in a type of way. But now they need the birthplace of the sun. their own energy, their independence to shine their personality. And I feel like that's their crossroads moment right now. And I think their intuition is telling them to do that and to lean more into love, but to understand that love and money are different here. I don't know that they're entirely different all the time, but they seem to be different here. And that they have to let go of the money and the power, and they have to let go of control, and they have to let go of strategy, and they have to let go of hiding, in order to be like, it feels like broadly accepted, but it also feels like there's a vagueness to that. Again, of like wearing the social mask, but being kind of silent most of the time and just being a silent, smiling face, except for having moments of kind of potency, but that also might change depending on like who they're around. And I think this person though knows what they're doing. Like this isn't a person with no inner core. This is a person who has an inner core and actually has the potential, I think, to be a real diamond in the rough kind of energy. And I think that there's a real potency here. Ooh, I'm getting goosebumps. This is why this is not exactly separate from this person's Rahu energy, like their North Node, is because I'm literally getting goosebumps. And on the inside, I'm like, yeah, all right. Yeah, okay. Because I feel like this person has gone in a certain direction. And if they kind of emerge from that, it's very potent. It's very powerful. That is a different kind of power. So they've sought maybe like money and power in the external world, but this is a different kind of power. This is a soul power, like that's what this is. And it's going to unleash that into the world. And I'm kind of seeing somebody like shining their light, like the little Batman symbol, which I don't really like. I'm not a huge Batman fan, but you get what I'm saying? It's like they're shining their heart, which is like their sun energy. So I feel like this person's sun is, oh, I'm getting goosebumps, is very intertwined with their heart, actually. And I think they've had to hide that in order to go down this path of money. And I think that they did that because they were feeling anxious, that they couldn't love what they love. Yeah, I'm hearing you are what you love. That's what Spirit's trying to say to this person. You're not what you're afraid of. You are what you love. So show people what you love. But I think this person realizes that it's going to ruffle feathers and it's going to cause a disturbance. And there's going to be some people who are going to be like, ew, you like that? And this person's going to be like, I love that. Yeah, I love it. And they know that it's like really going to divide people. But I feel like this person's kind of, that's what their intuition is trying to say, is like, move away from that, because it's Rahu lives in a desert. So I feel like that way lies a desert. It's a folly way. And I feel like they're at a crossroads because this person is, like I said, they got a heart. They are their heart, really. I think they have a lot of love, a lot of heart, and a lot of creative energy. They've just been burying it or exploiting it, like pimping it out in some kind of way to maybe make money. And Spirit is like, no, take this risk, show your heart, and move in this other direction. And there's a different kind of stability and a different kind of answer to this question of anxiety here, of like the people who actually love you for you. And they need you to kind of show your heart. Maybe there's a message coming in if somebody does that. It might change their fortune here, but I also feel like it changes their fortune towards like a lover's energy. Like I think a love is coming in. Like they have to choose between this money and power. And I think this person, maybe their anxiety was telling them, if I get the money and if I get the power and if I'm at the top of the game, then that's going to draw my lover in, but it's repulsing them. It's repulsing the people that actually love this person in a real way. And it's drawing in the sycophants. But I think this person maybe thought that some of these sycophants actually love them. But when push came to shove or whatever, like I think that they kind of realized that, oh, these people are just here because they also want money and power. It's energy. This person's kind of understanding energy. And I actually think this person's an energy worker. And I just heard like a light worker. There are like a manifester or something like that. So it's a kind of powerful energy here. But I think they just realized like, oh, I just drew a bunch of sycophants to me. They were just really good at kissing my ass or like smiling in my face or something. And I have to let go of that. But it feels like they have to do something big to kind of do it. And their intuition is telling them to do it. But it's scary, and it is scary. And it's not going to be without repercussion. I do think that they're going to alienate some of these people who've been around them. But I also think that that means that they're safe. They're safer. Like, because some people just want to be around them for the wrong reasons. And I think it hurts this person because, like I said, I do actually think this person is like in with their heart, like they are their heart. They love certain things, like, so they have to be willing to kind of go independent. And it feels like they need to send a message. But they know that, or they need to send a message, but they know that it's going to like upturn their fortune, but their fortune's going to change energetically, and it's coming in the form of a lover's. Who is this lover's energy? I feel like this lover's energy is a diamond in the rough. This is somebody that maybe looks scorpionic on the outside, maybe very polarizing themselves, but also seems to have like quite a bit of depth to them. Maybe they've gone through a lot of things, but like it's made this person kind of very, very unique on the inside and a gem. And yeah, maybe this person was a friend, but it's going to change that to a lover situation, or there's somebody from their past. There's going to be some type of message, but they have to stop hiding and they have to come out, because this person's been in a Seven of Swords energy. And it has made them comfortable maybe to be in a crowd, or to like to be in a crowd, to hide in a crowd, to hide behind some kind of uniqueness. This person does seem to have like a uniqueness, but again, it's like a uniqueness or creativity that like brings wide acclaim, and that's on whatever scale. But like they have to stop hiding. And I think that their moon energy feels like this person that they like, or that is their person, and maybe they know them from their past, or maybe this is a friend, or maybe this is like an entirely new person who is like this lone wolf energy that's like, I work on my own, but like this, they really want to be around this person, and they're like, wait, maybe I could be married. It feels like a very unique energy that kind of wouldn't settle down with just anybody, but these are two very unique people, kind of diamond in the rough sort of people. There's a karma here kind of wrapped up in this, like some kind of karmic cycle. There's a decision that needs to be made, and there's a certain amount of time with which it needs to be made. Somebody here is like really watching, maybe to see, sorry if you can hear my stomach growling. Somebody here is like really watching to see, or maybe this is this person and they're very smart and they're kind of in their head. That's that anxiety energy. Because the King of Swords for me, it's like Mrgashira energy, which like leaves Taurus. It leaves the stability, and it kind of takes this leap of faith, and it doesn't know where it's kind of going to land, you know? They know that they feel like they're going to get blamed or yelled at or finger pointed at. Maybe they feel like they're going to be called manipulative, like if they yeet out of a certain situation. I actually think this person's unique, or they have like a lot of skills, or they're ready to make this change though too. I feel this person has in some way been like exploiting a skill that they have. Like it is a genuine skill, but they've kept it on the surface level, and like they've been kind of exploiting it. And like, there is like a hermit though, like, cause this is both Mercury energy, and Mercury exalts in Virgo, where it's like actually earthier. And so I feel like, again, this person has to wise up and kind of go within, and they're ready for this. This person is actually, and I think this has actually been hidden in order to exploit this, or make something here, make their success seem like more superficial, or their personality, or again, to kind of wear that social mask. But this person has a depth, like an inner skill that they kind of keep hidden. And I think they feel alone a lot, because I actually think this person's kind of like wise, or like wise beyond their years. They're like an old soul. They're like maybe an old man on the inside, you know, where they're like, I just want to eat Jello. And like, I don't know. But it's like they're having some type of like TikTok, like just a matter of time. Okay, let me just see if this is you, and if you lean into your intuition, what your intuition is telling you, what's going to happen. Well, I already told you that it might be bumpy at first, but again, this feels kind of opposite of devil energy. Again, like where devil energy is, if I do this thing in the moment, I'm going to get something out of it in the moment. But this is like, have a longer term thinking about this. So do something that is going to suck in the moment. And I feel like a lot of fingers pointed at you, maybe like calling you like, oh, you were doing this the entire time. It's manipulative, whatever. But then, and say like some kind of a deep truth that might even be hairy or unpleasant. Like I was exploiting my skills for wealth and power. And then I want to go towards love now, and then run towards love. And it feels like exhilarating, and it feels, look, Hierophant, which is like very intuitive energy. It's a different kind of stability. It feels like love. And look, Five of Swords. And it's this couple, like maybe for some of you, it's like leaving a marriage, or for some of you, it's like your parents, or like maybe that's the other thing, is like people pointing the fingers at some kind of couple here. And that might be a couple that you're in, that you feel like this was born out of my anxiety and my feeling that power was going to be the answer. Because I'm really not getting a bad vibe out of this person. I'm not saying that they're entirely peaches and cream, because I do think that they like power and stuff, but this also does feel a little bit small. Why am I seeing plankton from SpongeBob, because wasn't it Plankton that was like, I can't remember, but it was like, I don't know, like a big energy, but like it was kind of small. I don't know. Look, the emperor energy. So this is like taking back control of one's own life, because there's the funny thing about chasing power. This is the paradox of the devil, is because you're chasing that power because you want like the control and you want to be in charge, presumably, of your own life. And maybe you'll gain control and like being in charge of like a domain or something, chasing down this like scorpionic path. But then you don't feel like you have control over your own life or like your own personhood because you have to wear the mask. And that is the thing that the people, like, it's, you're like, I just saw the person, the actual Aries energy here, like disintegrate underneath the weight of all of that. And so it's like, there's just this kind of empty vessel that has like this, you know, dominion over the world, and it's not happiness. So it's a lie. But this is a soul who, oh my gosh. Okay. This is like Jesha energy. Some of you might have Jesha in your chart. Like at the end, I'm getting goosebumps, like at the end of Scorpio. And I'm hearing that I may have told you this before. Some of you, I literally may have said this to you in a reading. I'm hearing yes. There was some type of confusion because of the intuition and the anxiety, where Jesha is a very interesting energy because it's the karmas of the kings, like the enlightened kings, where they have the ability to be at the top of the world and experience enlightenment. But it's not I'm literally getting goosebumps. Like, yes, like there's some kind of sun energy. And I feel like somebody's soul is like, yes, like this is my path. Like I'm going to do this, or this is what I'm meant to do, like kind of thing, like to chase the glitz and glam of money, fame, and power, and like get to some kind of height and then be like, you know, and just like show like the soul power, the person power. And she'll kind of like reveal that. That's kind of what I'm getting. And I could cry, and it feels so freeing and liberating. And it feels like so joyous and happy. And I'm seeing the angels like rejoice and things like, oh my God, did you see that? Like it's kind of like that, you know? But the way in which to do that, to become enlightened at the height of the world, is like to look straight at it and be like, this is unfulfilling. This is empty and hollow. And by the way, it cost me the love of my life. And I'm going for that now. I want to go for love. I'm walking away from this. Say exactly what you did, and people are going to hate you, and, you know, say, I knew it. And if they weren't wrong, then don't let it bother you. You know, that's what I heard. Like, yeah, well, you did know it, you know, like just, it's okay. Like absolute acceptance. And then just, and it feels like that is potentially for some of you, the karma's swinging in the direction it should have been, like where if you had a lot of pressure from your parents there, it's like, maybe it's like blaming the parents. Not that you want that to happen. I kind of feel like you don't. Or again, like there's some type of couple or like an emperor energy that you are with or became or something. But again, if it's the truth is that whoever this is a lover, not a fighter. And they have a lot in them that can be exploited, but also they can exploit. I kind of feel this person was exploiting themselves and then were shocked when other people were joining in on that exploitation. And they got like kind of these little leeches that are on them, and they just got to get them off. And the way to get them off is to lean into the heart energy and let people, let the chips fall where they may, and like let people decide if they like you or don't like you. This is bravery. This is courage. This is soul power. You got it. This person is strong, but they're like really in their head about it. Because they've been strategic. They want there to be a strategic way out of this. And I pick up on this energy a lot, and I do pick on this person. And if this is you, I'm sorry, because you're not dead inside. Like maybe some of you, like, I don't know, because sometimes I'm like, oh, this person's dead inside. And I do think that there are some of those that I pick up on. But this is a group that's not that. You're not dead inside. You know it. There is competition here and time. Maybe you feel like there's competition here. Is it on the love side, or there's some type of competition here that you think about? Either like, well, I don't want my competitors to win if I say what I am, you know, or whatever. But just consider maybe that's not the right path for you anymore. Or just like, I don't know. Into the unknown is what I'm hearing. And again, this is your decision to make, because I can tell that there are real risks here, and there are real fallout consequences. There are real variables here. It's like, I don't want my competition to win is what I'm getting. Maybe for some of you, like if this is a partnership, you feel like there's a competitor around, like for your partner, you don't want that person to win. And this is part of like the deeper thing to kind of work through. And you do have time here, some amount of time. It's not a forever amount of time, but there is time here. Look, judgment. Something here, like, it feels like you got to make a decision here. You've got options. You got to make a decision here. Something you feel like maybe for some of you, the time, that ticking time bomb is that something is about to be unearthed and you know that it is. Okay, you don't have to go this way. I just want to, like, if this is you, you don't have to go this way. There's a different karmic path for you. I'm just saying that it feels like something here. Somebody has chased the glitz and glam of money, fame, and power by a relationship or by exploiting some kind of skill set that they have. And they're going to reach the top here. And I'm telling you, there is like an opportunity to blast through a literal cubic fuck ton of karma by just like revealing yourself. And so this is kind of Jesus at the top of the mount, where choose your rewards. Choose your rewards. But it does feel like this power path doesn't lead to happiness. It leads to a bunch of sycophants being around you. It leads to loneliness, something here drying out, like a hollowness, and a disintegrating of the self, but a gaining of some kind of dominion. And going down the love path feels different. It's like fresh air is kind of what I'm getting. But there is a time limit here. Because something here is about to come out. And it's going to take away, I think, the ability to go down the road, unless you kind of explain it or admit to it or something before this secret kind of comes out. And Spirit's just letting you know that there's some kind of karma playing out. So, okay, I think that was pile number 3, and I'm going to leave that there. So anxiety is money and power. Intuition is towards love. And it's a real diamond in the rough energy, either becoming that yourself or showing that yourself. Again, being polarizing or going after somebody as a diamond in the rough. This could be somebody who doesn't look like much on the surface, but is. This could be somebody who's kind of the most attractive to you, even if they don't fit like society's definition of like attractive. And maybe for some of you, it's like you're going down the path with somebody who is that. But there's somebody here who like, they got this thing, you know? I just heard like they got this thing, and it really does make them truly like special or truly unique. Diamond in the rough. They might also not have a lot of money. Okay. He already looking real good. Okay. Like when the snake tempted Jesus in the wilderness. Yeah. Love is the one vibe that never goes out of fashion. Okay. So shall we move to the general messages? I'm just going to take a little bit of a break here. Should I just sit and stare at you? Compassion. Saturn enters Aries. Ooh, Saturn doesn't exactly like to be in Aries. Aries doesn't like to have Saturn necessarily either. Restricting it. I'm so here for pile 3 not being redonkulous. Yo, it really wasn't redonkulous. We actually had a sane person come through for once in pile number 3. Okay. All right, let me just get my gloss on, and then we'll move to a general message. All right. Saturn in Aries, but I think Mars is in Aquarius, so balance. That sounds exactly like the energy that I just described. Like kind of like this restriction of self that is very karmic, but it's like which way do you go? And it's maybe it has to do with like authority. But then Mars, which is that emblem of self, is in Aquarius. It's like different, or it's unique, or it's like, but it also could be in the crowd. Like it sounds like exactly the energy that I just described. Okay, so Spirit, the general message, and it doesn't have to be related to anything. I know you know that, but just let's get on the same page. Let's just communicate. Let's just talk between each other. So what general message wants to come out? What do you have for us? What do you want to talk about? What do you want to highlight? Oh, Temperance. Also, this looks like Venus to me, like the painting. I just heard, I'm your Venus, I'm your fire, your desire. I just feel like this is kind of linking all of this together because it's kind of giving pile number 1 vibes. But again, just like finding your own balance is like leaning to your Venus, like just finding that temperance energy is finding like your creativity, your expression, like in a healthy way, not that exploited way in pile number 3, but in like a healthy way. And it's like at one with the self, and it's just like very beautiful. Look, 7 of Swords. What the heck is that? High Priestess. So intuition. Okay, so are they saying to pick up High Priestess, like pick up on the 7 of Swords energy? What is this? What is the 7 of Swords energy? Ew. Okay, so I just looked down and saw this like crazy little sheep. And I just heard, ba ba, black sheep, have you any wool? But also like the sheep is like following the crowd. Look, 3 of Swords. Oh my gosh, because from this perspective, I feel like we're the black sheep. And it's like, okay, so there could be, this is maybe a mindset, or maybe this is actual person or people that's like, Spirit is like illuminating this for some reason. Danny, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you, Jess and Alex. Your interactions is soul food and a cup full of guidance. Thank you. It's very sweet. So I feel like there's this 7 of Swords energy kind of going around. I want to say this is you. And if it's not you, then this is like divine feminine energy. This is like some kind of Venus energy. And it could be like a mindset of like betrayal with the 3 of Swords. But it feels like that black sheep energy. Like you're too different or weird to like, I don't know, be this or to go near this. What is this, Spirit? Hold on. I feel like I need to interrogate this, like I've been telling you guys, because I'm getting a certain message, but I almost don't want to say it out loud because I just want to see like where, oh my gosh. Yeah. Where's this going? This is this ambush energy. What is actually going on here, Spirit? What is actually going on here? Ew. Okay. So here is this weird third party energy. It's trying to make somebody here afraid of either being a divine feminine energy, trying to get somebody in their head thinking I'm too weird, I'm too out there, I'm a black sheep to be this like divine feminine energy. It's creating this like weird moat around this temperance energy, which is, I think for a lot of you, or if the energies are reversed and you like this divine feminine energy and you want to move towards this person, and that either could be like, I don't know, in some kind of way, you want to move towards a divine feminine energy, either yourself and like seeing yourself in that energy. It's like, I feel like this is a mindset. And it's like putting this like moat energy around, trying to get somebody in their head thinking you're too weird and different. And there's just going to be a betrayal here. And like somebody here feels though, like they're being guided and like led to this divine feminine energy. But then they're like trying to, somebody here, it's this energy, this Lilith. And I'm getting a bad vibe off of that. It looks like very devilish. And I also get a bad vibe off of this card in this deck too. And this is the Echidna, which isn't necessarily a bad energy, but it's just that I don't really like the look on her face. And it's 4 of Pentacles. So it could be that somebody here is like trying to gain their own power through causing a bunch of like havoc here. And again, we pick up on this energy. Who is this energy? And what is this energy, Spirit? Oh my gosh. I forget that this little thing is there, but like if you look down there, it looks like this sad little gremlin creature. And I feel like that's who this actually is. So it could be that maybe this is somebody's partner and like they actually feel very small, like squished up, like next to this person. Or that's who is actually this, like somebody here who is like a jerk or something, and they seem like they have a lot of power, a lot of energy. Look, 10 of Swords. But they're actually this like tiny little, on the inside, they're this tiny little like gremlin or whatever. 10 of Swords, they want to cause some kind of painful ending here, they do. In order to gain power, or maybe for them to have some kind of rebirth. And it could be a rebirth, like they want to go around again in another cycle. That could be with a certain person that they feel like they cut off from their like divine feminine or something like that. Or it's just of their own power, you know? They want to have another, they want to emerge powerful from catching somebody in like some type of trap here. Who is this, Spirit? Who is this that's coming forward? It's like, I just heard the devouring mother, or like somebody who was trying to act like a wish fulfillment, or like guide somebody towards a wish fulfillment and then like capsize their boat. I definitely feel like there could be some kind of magic being done here. And they could be using a beautiful, like, actual good person to do this. Like, they're trying to draw somebody in. Who is this? They're trying to catch somebody in their net. What is this person doing? They're trying to cause confusion. They're trying to cause self-doubt. I think for a divine feminine, they're trying to make her feel like she's not a divine feminine. And it could be that maybe this person's, like, very attractive, like, physically. Whoever this, like, Lilith figure is. And they want this divine feminine to feel like they look weird, or that they are weird, or they're the black sheep. And so that this person can emerge and have more power. But it also could be that they're trying to make somebody feel like they can't go towards this divine feminine. But if somebody's already been involved with this Lilith figure, then I feel like they could have already ruined things. What was that? Ruin things with the divine feminine, and then they're like, yeah, go towards her. They want this divine feminine to reject this person, and then for them to think that their intuition was like kind of all, like the timing is weird. Who is this person? I actually feel like this person feels backed into a corner. They like to, this is like kind of energy vampire. Like they might like to like take out and take down genuine King of Pentacles energy, like actual masculine energy. That's like, they might really like that. But they also might feed off of like women's pain or something. I don't know. This is a bad energy. But I feel like they're feeling backed into a corner because of this fool energy. They could have been a fool. They could have taken a leap of faith into something. Oh, look, they got justice. Something came in out of the blue, and I feel like this person got justice. Because there was some type of confusion. Maybe it's like what they do got like turned around on them. So there was some type of confusion and they took some type of leap of faith. They were juggling. And there was like a friend energy or like something that kind of rose up here from the swamp. So from the shame. So this could be a masculine energy that jumped in with like a friend or somebody else here. And they want like some kind of cycle and they want some kind of new beginning. And they're maybe trying to get a feminine energy in her head. All those things that I just said. Or it could be the person that they jumped in with. Like a person, it could be a feminine energy. It could be somebody from this person's past or somebody that they jumped in with. So can you clear this up, Spirit? Why is this coming through? I'm kind of getting like cutting off the head of it, you know? They're wanting to cause some kind of fight, or so it could be, if this is a masculine energy, wanting to come in and cause some type of argument, have a victory, and block something here through some type of impulsive energy. They want to get maybe vengeance here. Why would they want vengeance? Because you went independent. And they feel hung up on it. And that, I guess, makes them feel like a victim. And so they're trying to get back. If it's a feminine energy spirit, what do they want vengeance for? Knight of Wands and the King of Swords. I mean, it definitely feels like some type of third-party situation. I'm kind of just getting that they might want something that you have. They want like a partner or like a life that you have. They want to ambush you and like so that they can emerge and seem like a Venus type person. I don't know. They're trying to add some layer of confusion here. Why are you bringing this forward, Spirit? What needs to be known? True colors, under pressure, self-love, happy single, and shocking news. So I feel like, oh look, anxiety is written under here. For some of you, maybe this already happened in the past and Spirit is revealing like the true colors here. But just don't make any snap decisions because that's the energy that they're trying to use to get somebody in some type of trap. Is some type of snap decision. Yeah, some of you, maybe you chose yourself and you're happy single and that was shocking for this person and it revealed your true colors and they were trying to get you in some type of trap. And now this person feels like, for some reason, they feel like that is something they have to cope with. And they're worried about that. Why is this person, I feel like now this is like strongly a masculine energy that's coming in here. Jackass, married. Somebody here is just wanting a different cycle with you. They might think that you're twin flames. This is not twin flame energy. I can tell you that for sure. Somebody here maybe has a secret account. Let me interrogate this energy really quick. Where is this coming from? Okay, so this, I feel like now this is actually coming in from a masculine. And this is somebody from your past. And they're wanting a new cycle. They miss you. They feel like you're twin flames. But if you're twin flames, there doesn't need to be this level of secrecy, sabotage, strategy. There's a delight here in like destroying something or catching somebody, trying to trip somebody up. This is the devil energy. So this is coming through because they're trying to present themselves as an option. They're trying to cause you some type of confusion here. And this is a karmic, and this is a karmic cycle. And I feel like you are actually overcoming this. And I feel like anxiety is part and parcel with this. And that's what you've kind of been feeling, or this person's trying to present themselves as an option. They're a karmic, and they're just going, it's a paradox here. They're just going to get you all like tangled up here. So like how can you just, so these, piles and sorting between your anxiety and your intuition, because this person feeds on your anxiety or tries to kick up your anxiety in order to confuse you and maybe even get you persecuted for something and to change your fortune so that they can have control or like be the emperor. This is a karmic. This is the snake in the Garden of Eden that you've been dealing with. And you, look at you. So like you're peaceful and you're happy here and you know who you are. This person either maybe could have done some magic here for those of you that resonate with that in order to try to get you stuck on them. But also I feel like magic or energy work, however you relate to that, setting intentions around you might actually help you in freeing you from this karmic cycle. Because you are actually this beautiful energy and you're very stable and you have a lot to give. And anything else? They could have tried to introduce some type of competition between you and somebody else. It came through like a Queen of Pentacles and a Queen of Wands. And that could have been that they were trying to make you feel insecure because somebody else had something that you didn't have and was trying to kind of maybe play both sides against the middle. Look, and I think this is turning around on this person. So stay the course, because a lot of you are figuring this out, and you're figuring this out inside of yourself, how to manage your anxiety and how to kind of see the forest for the trees, but how to see the path in front of you. And I think they're getting their justice, or they're like just about to, for causing confusion, maybe making you think that they had other options, or all the while loving you, or making you think that they were an option here. But they really came up short, and all they do is bring like some type of lack into your life. So I think I'm going to leave that message there. Yeah, but I think that a lot of you are wisening up to this because this person has less and less power. And I can tell because a lot of times I feel like my energy and your energy are very intertwined, like in the readings, like from my perspective at least. And I catch on more and more like, wait a second, I can't just take this message as it's coming in, which is so indicative of like the intuition, right? Like I can't just take this as though it's intuition coming in. I need to kind of like critically think about this, challenge this, ask where this is coming from, and not just get swept away in the flattery of somebody here. And I almost get that like this person is trying to pretend like there's somebody else as well. Like this came through in one of the readings where it was like, they know that you are asking about somebody else and trying to figure out like a different connection. And they're trying to put their energy into that connection. And that's like kind of furthering your confusion, but it's like in order to get your attention, because I think for some of you either already left this person or you figured this person out in the past. But they're trying to, they could have maybe even put energy at a different connection to confuse you about that, or like sent somebody in towards this person, or I don't know. There's somebody here. It's like very, very devil energy. And I think that more and more you are aware of it, you know, and learning how to kind of like parse through that. Sorry if you guys can hear my stomach like continually growling. I'm going to have some food after this, but okay. I don't like to end on that energy. I just really don't. So I'm going to ask Spirit if there is another message that Spirit wants to bring through about something different. Oh, look, victory. So I like that energy. I feel like you are going to have victory, or some of you are being recognized for something here in some way. What is that about? Look, Tower. For overcoming this like Tower energy. And this is, I definitely feel on a spiritual level, for a lot of you, your spirit guides are recognizing that you have victory and that you're on a way. I'm getting that some of you have like broken a big karmic cycle here, because it was a functioning dysfunction, and it was a cycle that had you feeling less than or sad. And I feel like somebody here is that you were involved in was like, likes it when you feel that way, because then you are more like doubtful of yourself. But, yeah, it had to do with some type of like romance or like romantic energy. And there's an acknowledgement here of you having victory over this. And as you're having victory over this, I feel like there could be a relationship here that is like brought down. That could be your relationship with a karmic, or again, this person could very well get karma, whoever that is. And I feel like there is some kind of special cup that is coming in for you. And it's going to feel like the wind blowing through your hair. Whatever this is. And it's not necessarily a person, although for a lot of you it is. What else do you want to say, Spirit, about this like victorious kind of energy? Look, the Lovers. Yeah, you're healing your heart from this like Lovers energy. And I think maybe whoever this person was, like you had to heal your heart because they moved on with somebody else. Or who is this? Who is this, Spirit? Okay, yeah, I just saw a fog machine, to be honest. So I feel like there's somebody who's very jealous of your energy, trying to hold on to your energy. And they're trying to confuse you about like your soulmate energies to keep this like hold on you. But you're having victory over this anyway. And at the very least, even if they did manage to like ruin a connection or something that they put at you, you still are shining. And I feel like that was, yeah, you still managed to shine. Because I think this person was trying to hide who you are as well. Because they wanted to maybe set you up to make it seem like you were the problem in your relationship, is what I'm getting. And again, you're shining your light like that you weren't the problem in the relationship, but this person is, I think, even energetically or magically trying to put stumbling blocks in your way to make that seem natural and to make it seem like a part of who you are or something. Of course, always take responsibility. That's the way to get through like a lot of things. And I think for some of you, you did do that, but it's not like who you are or something, but you're ending this karmic cycle. There's a death energy here. Yeah, and I think a lot of you, even if there was something that was like caught up in this, like you kind of let it go and you still found happiness anyways. Like whatever is going on. And it's caused this person to feel defensive because they were waiting for their ships to come in. And I think this person was waiting for you to come back to them. I think somebody here was trying to put certain energy at you to make you come back and think that it was your idea. I'm pretty sure this has come out in one of the other readings too. They wanted you to come back small and defeated and having no self-esteem. And they wanted to be able to cause an argument here, possibly in public, I just heard. Maybe even to like send you packing to get the final say is what I'm getting. But you have broken the back of that cycle. And I think now somebody else is feeling betrayed or backstabbed, or because they're seeing you move on and be happy despite whatever it was that they tried to do through their manipulation, or even like through magic or like some type of energy work here. Instead of watching you come back to them, they're watching you like leave and become independent. And it's doing too is like building soul strength, like actually building some kind of muscle. And it's like this, you saw this as an opportunity, at least your higher self did, where you're like, this person's pulling on your energy and you were like, I guess I got some weights to learn how to lift. This is an opportunity for me to get like actually strong. And yeah, this is a very manipulative person. I actually feel like there was magic done here, to be honest. And I know that I do energy work myself, but it's always hard for me to wrap my mind around it. People who do magic in this particular way, you know, trying to control their people or, because what's the point? Like, I feel like this person just wants to destroy you or ruin you. This is vindictive. They want to be able to offer you something. It's split. Like this person's very split in their energy towards you because on the one hand, they want to be able to be your person. They want to offer you something. They want you to come back and see them as like the Ace of Pentacles. That's like kind of proposal energy. But on the other hand, it's like they want to humiliate, embarrass you, degrade you, frame you as like you were the bad one in order to maintain like some type of control. And they like seeing you in this energy, and they like ruining your ability to look at yourself in the mirror and not like, I think they're envious of this because a lot of you live a moral life or something. You can sleep well at night. This person doesn't want you to be seen like that, first of all, in the group around them, because it is a kind of power where this person feels like it's not just that they feel less than you by comparison. It's that if like people know that they're the problem and that makes them feel like you have all the power in the relationship, but they still want to be with you, but they don't want you to have that kind of power. So they were trying to plant some type of like seeds in your mind about romance, positively or negatively, to try to get you to come back to them. But you have broken this cycle. And there might have been some type of paradox in that. This person was really trying to get your attention. They're maybe even trying to clear the air with you. Okay, because I feel like this person knows that you wouldn't be asking the tarot about them. Like whoever this person is. They know that you're like done with them and over them. And maybe that other people recognize that like you're the prize in the situation and that there's some type of like guy who couldn't keep it together enough to have you. And so they wanted to manifest like clearing the air with you and telling you that there was somebody else and that, oh, it's a Two of Cups kind of situation. And they wanted you to be heartbroken about this. And they wanted you to feel unsure about like your position and your track. And they wanted to use those kind of petty, lower emotions of jealousy and like, well, wait a second, I wanted to win. Because I think they feel like you won, or that you think that you won because you like left and also you didn't behave badly or whatever. There's some kind of way in which you left with your dignity that impressed a lot of people, maybe. It's their way of trying to be like this devil energy. They're trying to control their like image in some type of way to like bring you back in order to change your mind about them. That's their wish fulfillment. But they want you to manipulate you into thinking that they're your wish fulfillment. And they're trying to make you feel on unshaky ground wherever it is that you are. They want you to feel insecure. Maybe they're trying to knock your money or something here. Yeah, because you already ended things with this person in the past. I think you ended things in no uncertain terms, and this person, and you're protecting your peace, and they're trying to get your attention. They could be, yeah, there's, and that was their karma, by the way, because they wanted to be in a relationship with you, but you then went like independent, and so they were sneaking around, and they don't really have a lot to offer. So that's why they went the manipulative route, and that's why they did a bunch of spells in this way. They didn't use their energy work or their spells for their own liberation or to respect you in any way. They were trying to fuck with your sovereignty. That's what they were trying to do. They were trying to mess with your destiny. This is a huge karmic cycle, a huge karmic pattern. If you are in any way drawn to intuition, if you are in any way drawn to doing your own magic or your own energy work to protect yourself, to banish this energy, to heal your auric field, to illuminate this kind of, I feel like that is, I want to say your birthright, because it's been attacking you. It was leveraged against you. And in a weird way, it's like some type of initiation. Yeah, and it might just be worth making yourself known to like Hecate, the goddess that like rules over magic. Like, hey, that person's been using magic to mess with my sovereignty. They don't let me make my own choices about whether I want to talk to them, whether I want to call them, whether I want to have have them in my life or not. They don't allow me. That's how they're using magic on that level of consciousness, and I'm owed some type of justice, and so are you. You've been also disrespected. Like, how can you help me get? I'm feeling like a spear removed, like being removed here. So maybe just talk with her and be like, hey, somebody has been using your realm to harm me, and I want to work together for some type of like karmic justice here. For some of you, like, they're just going to hear that you are actually with somebody, and it is actually a love connection, and they're feeling like all kinds of competitive ways about it, and it's just like very protected. I feel like for some of you, this is a cycle that's gone on in a lot of past lives, and it's kept you confused, and maybe that's kept you anxious and kind of blocked your intuition here. I think I'm going to do some work around this myself, and even just like pray or like ask, like bring this to her attention. I feel like she probably already knows, but my stomach, I'm so hungry. Yeah. Okay. So, and I also, somebody literally just wrote, baby, I fight fire with fire. So I kind of feel like that. This maybe has brought out your warrior energy, where you're like, this is an energy that, because I feel like you did the noble thing. Like you told this person in no uncertain terms that this was ended. You told them what you wanted and what you didn't want. And that was not respected here. And so I feel like for a lot of you, you are having to learn how to be the warrior or learn how to be the fighter. And like, because you're not naturally confused and you're not naturally anxious. This person has like put that energy towards you. That might be worth it to just see how this person benefits from certain anxiety that you feel and what they might want out of that. It's all trying to funnel you back towards them is what it's trying to do. This is gross energy. But its power was in its deception. Its power was in you thinking, some of you like not even realizing that people do this kind of shit. And even if it was on your radar, because for some of you, I'm hearing this was literally like on your radar where you were like, nah, couldn't be. Is it that? No, certainly not. Like somebody wouldn't do that. I can't see them doing that. What? And then like you found out that they did or that they paid somebody. This person, okay, now literally I'm having like tears prick out of my eyes because this person was like kind of caught. Their power was in, you know that quote that says the devil's greatest trick was convincing the world that he doesn't exist. That's what I'm getting this. This person's greatest trick was making you think that they were over you, that they weren't thinking about you, and that certainly not that they were putting magic towards you or like paid somebody to do that. And I think that some of you didn't realize that magic was a factor. And I used to shy away from these messages on my channel, but like if you start to do energy work around this and you start to feel your energy free up, because this has been a lot of magic I think put at you, then just the proof is in the pudding. It speaks for itself. Yeah. Not realizing that people operate that way. Yeah, like I feel like you can, and if you are drawn to magic, it's probably similar to me where it's like for healing and cleansing out your space and your auric and like, for ultimate liberation and to bring genuine love where you're not tampering with somebody's sovereignty. You're not dialing in on a particular person and saying, guess what? You have no choice but to love me, to call me, to think of me, to dream of me. Guess what? That's not love. That's not a person who loves. Because if you love, you let something go. You give it its freedom. And you accept if it wants to be with you or if it doesn't. And that's not what is occurring here. That is not what is occurring here. Yeah, I think that a lot of you're being encouraged to have firm boundaries. I think this is another shocking thing because I think for a lot of you did learn how to have boundaries with this person, but I think now there's like an energetic level to that of just like learning how to have energetic boundaries. And so whatever, and this can be a very fun, pleasurable experience just to kind of whatever resonates with you, just kind of setting, I don't know, whether it's a prayer, like, now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. It's like just asking God to look after you, like just some kind of like ritual energy. I am getting such a strong pain here. Like my left shoulder, it's like there was some kind of spear or something. Like, look, the Five of Swords. This person, they don't know what to do now that they're caught. And now that I feel like this death energy is coming in no matter what. And it's because of your mind energy, because you've seen something differently. It's coming from the inside out. And by the way, outside, this is kind of reminding me of pile number 1. But remember I was saying like the intuition came from outside of you? This could also be this idiot putting something at you coming in from outside of you. But this is like this person tried to make some kind of intuition seem like it was coming from outside of you, or like they were trying to control events in your life to make you think that nothing was working without them. And it must be fate pulling you back to like towards them or something. LOL. But I feel like the strongest power is within you. So even if people are putting this weird magic at you, like you take control of your own space. It is yours. You are sovereign over your space. So there's connect to that energy, your own power, recognize it, and then just project it outwards. That's something that they can't really get around. They were trying to cause some type of argument. They were trying to cause some type of breakup. They were trying to cause you to be jealous of like them in some type of way. They did something in the past too. And there is proof somewhere, like, and maybe you already know it. They maybe like sacrifice somebody. I don't think I mean that literally. But it's like they could have used magic to like get rid of somebody here, like to try to knock them out of the running, because they wanted to be seen as like better than they are, because I think you're too good for this person. And I think this person kind of knows that they're not on your level. They can't provide to you what you need. And there was some type of waiting. This person maybe separated out. Yeah. I'm kind of getting that. And now they're feeling like judged and like nervous and anxious about some kind of King of Wands. And then like, you are this Wheel of Fortune here. Why are they feeling nervous about this? They're feeling defensive because you're learning and in learning you're moving away from them. And they know that they caused you some type of breakup or some type of feeling left out in the cold. Maybe because of a marriage. I all this shit that I pick up on, I feel like they did some type of magic or something to make your soulmate marry somebody else or something. This is so specific, and it doesn't just have to be that. To make you feel less than, to make you feel shut out. And pack up and leave. And to make you feel responsible, maybe, for that as well. And to have a new beginning with them. And to make you think that they were your lover's card. That's what I'm seeing here. That is the nasty shit that this person put at you. This is not a message that is going to resonate with everybody. It's not even going to resonate maybe like widely, but this is definitely true for somebody. This is like an actual thing that has happened. How to do a return to sender. You can look that up online. There's a lot of different ways. The most important thing is that it's something that resonates with you, and like just break down the different parts of ritual that resonates with you, the different ingredients that you know about that are like repellent or again, like just kind of look things up. And that's my advice, is to make it really personal to you, something that connects in with your energy, because it's your energy that your energy, if you go deep enough into it, I think it's just God. I think we're all God. At the end of the day, that's where all of our energy comes from. But like, there's a way that you kind of plug into that. So, and it just allow it to be creative, and like a creative expression. You just described it word for word. Yeah. Just play Elvis Presley's Return to Sender on repeat. Oh, Motherland said, I posted a Protection Magic ebook in Jess's Patreon chat. Cool. So that'll be there. Then I also triggered my manifestation powers. I did learn a lot. Yeah, because I think this was like some type of awakening on an energetic level for you. Okay. So that is what I have for you. I am appalled and starved. So I'm going to go get some food and really process this. Actually, I'm not going to process this. I'm just going to be like, ew, and move on. But because okay, well, I don't know, because I was like, but this kind of gets into my space too, like, because this person does try to bother me sometimes to send messages. So maybe we all just need to beef up a little bit our protection magic. But you've already seen me do this, like how I challenge it, I critique it, like any message that comes through my intuition, I challenge it, I ask it questions, I interrogate it to try to tease out the truth. And that's when this energy quickly falls apart, because it can't keep up with its like own lie, And that kind of reminds me of pile number 1, is like, that is the power that it holds over you, is you not realizing that even exists and it's a thing that people can do or would do. But also just that kind of first initial blinding exuberance that feels like it's loving, or it wants to apologize, or it wants to make some type of amends. It feels like what love would do. And then once you kind of start teasing that apart, it kind of breaks down. So, okay. That's what I have for you guys. Thank you guys for spending time with me. We do have a Patreon reading coming out tomorrow, and it is what do you need to know to clear your negative relationship patterns? I already recorded that one. It was very interesting. And then the next one is our non-romance, which is messages from your ancestors. And I think we do still have a little more Valentine's Day candles available, which is, we do. It's a mixture of things. Like it does break any spells that may have been put at you. That challenges those so that you can hear your own intuition. It lifts any confusions and illusions, funny enough. And it heals masculine and feminine energy within, and it draws in healthy masculine energy around you. It's deeply honoring of other people's sovereignty. I don't believe in doing like love spells where you have to make somebody love you or make somebody drop everything and like kind of, I don't do that weird shit. And I suggest you stay away from people who do. It's not lighthearted white magic. It's dark, and you'll never go wrong in respecting people and just allowing, having acceptance and allowing life to flow, but recognizing that there could be things in your energy field that are blocking your flow. And removing those and tapping into your intuition. And there's a lot of ethical stuff that I kind of put on the tail end of that. But yeah, and it comes in a beautiful jar. I have it right back here. I'm not going to grab it because it's probably hot because I had that going even before the reading. But it comes in a beautiful jar that kind of, it has this speckly, like when you light it in a dark room, it kind of speckles out like on the wall. It's really, really pretty. And it smells like sugar plums, which is a beautiful Valentine's loving, romantic, like kind of feminine, but yet also like grounded and wintry kind of scent. That is kind of like adds a layer of cozy. I wish my hair could smell like that. I wish that was like a shampoo and conditioner kind of a thing. So, okay, that's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye guys.